Yes, we can start.
Good morning, everyone. I am Parul Singh from IMT Hyderabad, and with me I have my friend Sudhanshu Mehta. Today we'll be hosting the IMT Connect series webinar. As our interview process is to be started for the batch 2023 to 25, we are here to solve our queries regarding admissions, placements, or anything that you would like to ask for. And for the same, we have Ma'am Ishita Kundu with us, who is the admission head of the IMT group. And then we have Dr. Mahesh Ramalingam with us, who is the admission chairperson of IMT Hyderabad. Now, I would like to introduce Ms. Ishita. Uh, Ms. Kundu is the head of marketing and admissions of IMT, and she manages all the marketing initiatives for the brand IMT and monitors all the admissions process throughout all the three campuses that are Ghaziabad, Nagpur, and Hyderabad. Armed with an MBA from Health International Business School, Boston, she has been an integral part of IMT since 2012. And prior to that, she has worked with various companies in the education sector, including IMS and the Princeton Review. So we welcome you, ma'am. Now we have Dr. Mahesh Ramalingam with us. Dr. Mahesh is the admission chairperson of IMT Hyderabad, and he's currently working as associate professor. And he has is teaching and research interest in mainly in the field of analytics and IT. And he has a work experience of 10 years and is definitely an asset to IMT Hyderabad. So we are glad to have you here, sir. Now over to you, Shita ma'am.
Yeah, hi. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this INC information counseling session for IMT Hyderabad. This is a very important session because it is a session which answers a lot of queries and concerns which students may have at this point of their journey, because as you all are aware, the admission process for most of the B schools, including IMT Hyderabad, is going to begin very shortly. The CAT results are out. The XAT results will be out any minute as we speak, probably today, probably tomorrow, we're not sure, but any day now it can come out. The GMAT results, obviously we take your scores till 28 February. The CMAT is also around the corner. Hopefully the NTA will declare the dates very soon. And IMT will also commence its admission process shortly. Because of that, a new set of aspirants, as the 2023 aspirants are, they will have a lot of queries and concerns related to the form filling, queries concern related to the profile detail form, concerns related to the actual process, also concerns related to program offering, specializations, majors, minors, SIP, placements, campus life. So there are a lot of, queries which students have. So what we have done this year is we have kind of changed the agenda of the INC a little bit, in which what we did was instead of broadcasting what is already there on the website, what we thought was it will be interesting for us to collate in queries of students and get actual students like the students sitting here today from IMT Hyderabad ask us, Professor Mahesh and me, the questions, and we'll be very much happy to answer them. These queries and concerns has been collated by them for over 2-3 years, information, what they see, what students ask. And also we're going to take in some live questions from the audience today who are sitting and watching us, so that we are able to kind of resolve most of your doubts and queries about IMT Hyderabad's and generally IMT's admission process. So I hand over to Professor Mahesh to share a few words, and then we'll quickly go into the queries section because that's the most important thing. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning to everyone. Yeah, as Ishita briefly explained about the process, so we are here to answer all your queries and which commonly asked by the students, as well as if you have any queries apart from what we are going to discuss, you are free to ask. So we are here to clear all your doubts and queries related to admission plus the program what we are offering and the courses and curriculum what we are going to deliver in IMT Hyderabad. So we can start now.
Good morning, ma'am. As among students, it's a very common query that if a student has already filled a common application form, then he or she also need to fill the campus-specific form or not?
So no, in case you have adhered to the IMT common application deadline, right now the deadline is 31st of January, and the common application form gives you the leeway to apply to all of IMT's campuses. It's one common form. Since the process is common for all of us because it's one IMT brand, you do not require to fulfill an additional form. You can go through the process filling up the common admission form. You just have to put your first preference of campus as IMT Hyderabad, if you're interested in Hyderabad, and looking at your score cutoff and interview performance and collating all your merit score. If your first campus choice is Hyderabad and you're eligible for Hyderabad, we will definitely, you will get an admission in Hyderabad. So you don't need to have a separate form.
So, sir, first program query that students generally ask for is that what is the course structure and curriculum of different programs that are offered by IMT Hyderabad?
Yeah, IMT Hyderabad offers three different programs. One is PGDM General, PGDM Financial Management, and then PGDM Marketing. So we offer three different programs. And then the first year courses almost it is similar for all the students. And there would be the like a PGDM marketing students would be given more orientation towards the marketing. As well, similarly, like a financial students would be given more orientation towards the finance. Apart from that, we also offer some workshop mode courses to gain some specialized skills like advanced Excel and then leadership and like a personal marketing. There are different workshop mode courses also we will deliver in the first year. That is again compulsory for all the students. The workshop mode courses based on the student interest and specialization, they are going to take it in the next year. They have a choice of choosing those workshop mode courses, and they also have a kind of cushion that minimum number of workshop mode courses one student has to go through. So that is for the first year. And in the second year, we are offering bunches of specialization. We have almost six departments where the students can be specialized in, starting with the general management, financial accounting, and then marketing, operations department, and ID and analytics, operations management. So these are all the six department functional areas the students can be specialized in. Each specialization, again, students also can be specialized in major as well as minor. If it is a major, they need to take minimum number of courses in that particular area. Be it a marketing, they have to take minimum 6 courses. Then they can be a major in the particular domain. And we also have the concept of minor. Again, apart from the major, they can also choose one more specialization as a minor, assuming a student has taken major as a marketing, and he or she can take a minor as an analytics or maybe operations or finance, whatever area they wanted to specialize. They can be again minor into other specialization. And we do have a dual specialization option as well, so they can be like a majoring in both the areas where they wanted to specialize. So these are all the curriculum and specialization, the programs we have in IMT Hyderabad.
Ma'am, can you please walk us through the selection parameters and cutoff for this year for all the campuses?
Right. So, first of all, let me tell you that the process, which is very soon to begin, and you will probably receive an intimation by this week about when the process begins. Usually it is in the first week of Feb. So we will share a notification with all aspirants in this week about the starting of process. The process is online as well this year. So you will get the information on your on the mail which will come to you this week. The process is online. You will attend the process from your homes or from your offices as you deem fit via the candidate ERP. So I'm sure the students who are aspirants are very well aware by now what is an ERP, what is a candidate ERP, candidate portal, what we call. You log into with your login access that you have, your email ID and a password which you have derived into the IMT candidate portal. And once you enter to the candidate portal, you will have a set of instructions which will be given, which we typically call candidate manuals, which will guide you how to attend the process online, right? So that's it. Details of that will be shared through the candidate manual. So I would encourage all aspirants to read it very thoroughly, because then you will not face a challenge while you appear for the selection process on the date assigned to you, because we have a lot of students coming later on to us. I could not attend the process because I couldn't understand how to get into. So please, I would first of all encourage everyone to read the manuals that are shared with you. They're very detailed and very thorough manuals. Okay. Secondly, about selection parameters. Obviously, like any good premier business school, IMT Hyderabad has a very set of quantitative parameters by which it judges the student. Since the process is common, students of IMT, all the IMTs that get judged by the same parameters, right? The parameters comprise of academic scores in 10th, academic scores in 12th, academic scores in your undergrad, right? Undergrad also has an additional parameter, which is quality of the institute, which means what kind of institute are you coming into. So we have derived a ranking or a grading system, not a ranking, a grading system of institutes in India and abroad through various data sources that we have: government rankings, private rankings, etc. And we have collated a list of A, B, C grade institutes. So that also has a score. What is the undergrad institute you're coming, whether it's engineering, non-engineering, doesn't matter. And obviously your score in undergrad. So 10th, 12th graduation score. For WorkX students, we also additionally check their WorkX, which means their quality of WorkX and the duration of WorkX. Because as you understand, a B school, somewhere the outcome is career and placements. We are very cognizant of the fact that what is the placement committee looking for, because that is also why one of the primary reasons why students come to B school. So we also want to judge you. If you have a WorkX of more than a year, please remember it's more than 12 months. If you have less than 12 months WorkX, we consider students as freshers. So more than 12 months, we will look in the quality of the WorkX of the student and the duration of the WorkX, right? So that's about the background of the student. In addition to this, we have the interview and a critical thinking test. Now, the critical thinking test will be a 30 minutes test, which will judge you on some parameters, which will be there in your candidate manual. Again, I encourage you to read that. There's also an admission interview, which you will face with panelists. Typically, the panelists are faculty members. They can also be panelists from the industry. They can also be panelists who are alumni of your institute, who will ask you questions based on things like your domain knowledge, your analytical skills, your problem solving skills, your communication skills, right? Your potential for employability. So these are common, they will be questions based on that. Since you come to the interview after filling your profile detail form, a lot of your information about your background will already be there on the profile detail form. Most of the aspirants now are aware of what is IMT PD form because they have already been circulated that form. And you need to write an SOP in the form. You need to write details about your work experience, details about your designation, your profile, your extracurricular. So that will fairly give the panelists an idea about your background, and they will pose questions based on that. There is also something right now which we have introduced, which is the extraordinary profile or exceptional profile and exceptional WorkX. So we have some candidates coming to us who meet certain parameters under the exceptional profile and exceptional WorkX category. Exceptional profile will have 4 subcategories, which means what kind of quality of undergrad institutes they come for. If they come from very premier undergrad institutes in India or abroad, we definitely give them a leeway of some test score relaxation, because we believe those candidates will add value to the classroom. We also have candidates who come in with some sports background, whether it's a state or a national or an international level. We feel sports teaches students a lot of skills which is required in the boardroom. So if a candidate is qualified in some kind of sports which is recognized and reached a level of participation or winning, we definitely can give us relaxation of test scores to those candidates. Also, if a candidate has taken a social enterprise, build an NGO, or kind of some award which is recognized by the government of India, and they can prove that through documentation, for those candidates also we provide a test score relaxation, because we feel those candidates also deserve to be in the classroom. We also have an extraordinary or exceptional work experience for candidates who have worked with branded companies with minimum 2 years of post undergrad work experience. So minimum 2 years managerial work experience in a branded or a listed company. Those candidates also we feel will add value to both our classroom as well as our final placement outcome. So for those candidates also we do have a test score relaxation. So those candidates are encouraged to apply, and we have a process of admission for those candidates. So all in all, academics, work experience, your profile, your work experience, your quality of work experience, and how you perform in your interview will determine other selection parameters and determine your entry into the campus. So I hope I've answered the question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, sir, next question we have is like, what are the different kind of scholarship that the institution provides? And we've also got a specific question from one of the candidates, that is there any scholarship for backward classes? So,
We offer almost 3 different types of scholarship to help the students. One is like TFW, it's nothing but total fee waiver. We wanted to help the economically backward students. For them, also we are trying to encourage them to get into our IMT Hyderabad. For that, almost 100% of academic fees waiver we are giving to them. Again, there will be a particular committee when the students are applying. There is a committee who decides that the deserving candidate. Then based on that committee recommendation, finally, those students will be getting that 100% fees waiver. That is one. And second one, we are also offering Srimati Leela Nath Memorial Scholarship. That is for all female students who are admitted to IMT Hyderabad will get 20% of the fees waiver of academic fees. So that is what we are giving for the female students. And this is also, we wanted to encourage more female students into our campus, and not only for our campus, for all the 3 campuses, we are encouraging the female students to get into our programs. And then the third one is merit-based scholarship. In the merit-based scholarship, we are offering for the candidates, those who are scored more than 90 plus in CAT or ZAT, or 65 plus above score in the GMAT. So those candidates will be getting fees waivers of 40% of their academic component. So this is what the 3 different fellowship or scholarship we are offering to the students. Yeah.
And there's a query from a student that if he had chosen IMT Hyderabad campus in the on the second preference while filling the application form, there will be any difference in the admission process if he had chosen the second preference of Hyderabad or first preference for Ghaziabad?
You're saying, will there be any difference in the
admission process?
No, there is no difference. Admission process is the same. It comprises of the same parameters. And also I want to additionally add it is same parameters if you are applying for the common form or you're applying for the campus specific form. So if you're applying for IMT Hyderabad campus, or have applied, because we opened the application for some time in December, even if you have applied for the campus specific form, the process is the same. For common forms, for whether you've chosen IMT Ghaziabad as first, IMT Hyderabad as second, IMT Nagpur. So the process, because it's an IMT, that is why we call the common admission process for IMT. So the process is the same, the parameters are the same, and we take you through the same process. So there's no difference. Final selection of campus, just to add, will be obviously based on your test scores, your performance, and what is your preference of campus? So that is final. Final selection will be based on that, right? Which campus you go to.
Yes, sir. So another question in the program queries is that what can a student expect from like SIP, SET, and what are the other alternatives that a student have?
Yeah. Yeah, we are offering again the very basic objective of giving the student internship program is we wanted to minimize the gap between the academics and the corporate. So we engage the students in multiple forums where the industry people and the academics, we work together so that we understand the market condition better, and whatever the corporate operates in reality, we try to even inculcate in our curriculum. So we offer multiple events like a leadership series, and then internship, there are multiple conclaves, and even we also have a unique feature of like a practitioner session, whatever courses we are offering in IMT Hyderabad, almost 20 to 20% of the syllabus is covered by the industry practitioner who is actually working in that particular area. So that is how we try to bridge the gap between the theory as well as the practice. Part of that, in SIP, student internship program, end of the first year, most of our placement companies come for the internship program. Again, there are multiple criteria based on the student interest and whichever domain they wanted to get into for the second year. They try to choose, the students will choose the internship program. Again, it happened like the regular placement process. The companies visit our campus and they conduct an interview process to select the internship students. Again, this is not like a project. Internship means the students work in the company like regular employees. They will be part of the organization. The entire work will be given to them. So they understand the entire organization culture and the functional areas expertise. So that is the reason we offer them internship. Again, the internship will be graded for almost 12 grades. So we are also serious about the learning process happening through internship. That is one. And secondly, we also see that some of our students are not having corporate experience. To expose them to the industry experience, this internship actually help them. So, and apart from that, we also makes the learning process much better. We tell the companies, if at all any internship companies are coming to our campus, minimum they need to offer stipend as some 10,000 rupees, and that also again varies company to company. Last year, if I remember, the highest stipend was given almost 75,000 to 1 lakh per month. So that's how the students got in the last year. And then the average stipend would be somewhere around 15 to 20,000. So that again, it's a small token of appreciation by the company to motivate the students. This is what one part. And the second one, SIP, Student Exchange Program. We have IMT Hyderabad as an IMT group. We have almost 25 plus foreign universities MOU we have. So through that, the even faculty and student exchange program happen. Maybe in the first year, the third semester, third trimester, students will be allowed to go for the exchange program in various universities. And again, there is again a process involved in it. Those who are eligible, there is again guideline for getting into the student exchange program, minimum CGPA criteria, all that is there. Those who qualify that criteria, they need to apply for the multiple universities through our institute, and then there will be again a shortlisting committee will be there. They review into the entire application process, and then finally the eligible candidates will be selected for those different universities in the foreign. So then once they select it, the students will be pursuing either one semester or one trimester course in the different universities. Once they complete that course, that whatever grading they scored in the respective universities, those scores will be converted to our academic grades. So that again, the grading system, everything will be again converted to our IMT Hyderabad your curriculum. So that's how the students will be exposed to, are given an opportunity to expose the global participants events as well as global culture, how the different business school or the academics works in the different countries. Students are exposed to that as well. So that's all about the internship and the student exchange program offers through IMT Hyderabad.
And as you talked about the exceptional profile, there's a query from a student that he had he had done fellowship in recognized NGO. Will it be count as an exceptional profile or not?
So it's a difficult question to answer in just 2 minutes because we scrutinize exceptional profiles via internal committee, and we kind of look into the documentation of the student. So we kind of, students definitely, if they are part of exceptional profile, they will fill up a series, or they will upload a series of documents. They have to write 2 additional questions in part B of the profile. So if the student has already filled up the form and got the PD form, or is likely to get a profile detail form in the next 10-12 days, they will see that there is a part A of the profile detail form, which is general, basic, academic, and other information. In case he wishes to apply to IMT with an exceptional profile or work experience, there is a part B of the form which he needs to fill up. There are additional questions which he needs to answer. There is additional documentation which he needs to upload, and then he has to kind of submit his PD form. The committee for all these exceptional profile and WorkX will sit, scrutinize the information provided along with the PI, because in the PI also there will be additional questions asked to him on his profile, right? So the faculty will judge him based on those, based on his profile. If he has worked for a NGO, what kind of work experience he has had, what was his profile, did he bring about any kind of change during his time, was he able to impact in any kind? So these questions will be posed by faculty, and there will be additional parameters for them to fill in the evaluation form for the student. We'll kind of collate all that information, look through the documentation, kind of decide as a committee in admissions whether this student can be entered as an exceptional profile. So it's very difficult to just at the face of it, but what I would suggest is you apply, provide answers as best to your capacity in part B of the PD form, upload all the necessary documentation to support your claim that you are an exceptional profile, attend the interview, and you should be able to answer questions posed by the faculty to you, so that they can get also convinced that you are an exceptional profile, and then we will leave it to them. So that's the entire process. It doesn't like happen like, am I or am I not? We have to look through a lot of data and documentation to be able to conclude this information.
Okay, so here we have another is a PI question. So one of the candidates is asking that will having a marketing job and having excellent knowledge about marketing, is it gonna help him in the personal interview round?
Okay, should I go ahead, Professor Mahesh, or do you?
Yes, ma'am. You can go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, so now it's again, it's a little vague question, because I don't know what kind of job he's doing, what kind of company. But yes, what I would generalize this and say is, yes, if you have a good work experience as a marketing expert and you have worked in that domain, definitely it will help you in the interview process, because you will be able to answer a lot of questions related to what you have done. And faculties, if Mahesh sir can concur, have obviously, if there's a work experience, they'll ask a lot of questions related to that, but they'll also kind of try to have you link your professional knowledge with theories, kind of link your work experience to what you want to do in an MBA, what additional skill sets you want to acquire during your MBA, what is your career journey looking like now that you have the work experience, now you want to do a PGDM, post that, how do you link all that, what is your career goal? So these kind of questions will be posed to you, and student has to be very clear about what kind of answer. So it is not only that, okay, you have a work experience, you come and we will take you. No. So whether the student is able to justify that, whether the quality of the WorkX will enhance the batch in the PGDM program, whether we will be able to give him some value add, and whether at the end of the day he can kind of enhance his career with the PGDM. So these are the thoughts which goes on in panelists' mind when they interview a candidate.
Yeah, adding to Ishita, obviously, when somebody comes from with work experience, definitely there will be a questions related to their current work profile, and we try to also understand why actually there is a need for them to come for the management program like our PGDM. So we try to understand their interest. Are they really interested in, or what kind of expectation they have when they come from the that particular profile? And we also try to understand, is it that whatever knowledge he gained through the whatever the experience, in what way it is also going to help us in terms of our classroom. So this is also we try to assess them, and then depending on the background of the students what they are coming, and we also foresee like what kind of placements opportunities we are going to create. Is there any alignment with their expectation and what we are offering? There is a match or not, we try to understand. So there will be definitely questions related to their job profile, what they are doing it, and then the intention for coming into MBA. So the candidates has to be ready for these questions. Yeah.
And there is a question from a student that can a good CAT score outweigh his poor academic profiles or past records?
Yeah. Okay. So let me take that. So what we are looking for is an overall good profile candidate. So in case he has a good test score, yes, to some degree it can offset, because you have to understand it is a metric, right? We are judging a candidate through a metric system or a merit system in which we kind of put quantitative parameters to each of the evaluation parameters, and we derive at a final number we try to make it as quantitative as possible, because that is the best way to judge. Even if there is an interview, we try to quantify it at the end, that what is the marks you will assign to a student, because that is what happens even in the classroom. You assign marks at the end of the day, right? So this is also the similar process, because we want a candidate to get into that. So yes, so in case he has high test scores and a little bit of a lower academic, it kind of offsets. But it overall depends on the profile of the candidate, and overall depends on how he performs during the interview also, because faculty has a lot to say whether we should take the candidate in or out, because they are the ones who are going to teach the candidate in the classroom. They are also responsible for placement outcomes. The institute is responsible. So with that sense of responsibility, even if he has like a bad 12th or a bad graduation, we will see consistency, and then we will ask questions also. I've seen faculty ask questions, your 10th and 12th are so good, what happened in graduation? So if the candidate has to provide a very valid and legit answer, maybe there was some personal crisis, maybe he was not interested in this, so he has to be very forthcoming, and he has to somehow, he or she has to somehow kind of justify his stance that he did well, but there were some reasons, and those reasons were logical. So overall, we look at the profile of the candidate, we kind of see consistency, and if we see any breaks or gaps, we kind of ask questions and probe more during the interview, and the candidate has to provide us very forthcoming and genuine answers, what happened. And if we are convinced, then definitely there's not a problem. So it's overall profile, and I would definitely say that if there is some gap in his profile, he should be able to justify that and come up with reasonable answers, what happened. And then if you are satisfied, if the faculty is satisfied, then okay.
So, sir, what are the different sectors from which companies come to the institute for placement? And it is followed by a specific that one candidate asked. It is what kind of industrial exposure there is for operations management in IMT Hyderabad.
Okay. In IMT Hyderabad, the placement again, it happens for almost the maximum industries. Like if I am taking the placement data of last year, the maximum percentage, almost 35% of the placement happened in IT, IT and IT allied areas. And consulting, another major area where we have a lot of placements, financial services, manufacturing, retail. These are all some of the industry where our students are placed. And then again, the different roles also, like if I talk about in finance, like we can see about like a senior analyst, and then mortgage banking analyst and financial analyst, US tax consulting analyst, and more of analyst job they get into. And again, if I'm specifying the companies, you can see that in the consulting financial services like a Disha, and then Invesco, Reckless. So these are all some of the famous companies who hire the IMT Hyderabad students. And apart from that, even if I am talking about the IT and analytics related area, like data scientist, and then they are also taking the business analyst or business analytics kind of a profile, pricing analyst, the risk and financial analyst kind of advisory positions are some of the roles related to analytics. And then in the marketing, more of management, training, sales, and then business forecasting analyst, and then pre-sales specialist. These are all some of the roles offered by many of our recruiting companies. And then HR, if I'm talking about HR, the process expert, and then business analyst, especially for the HR aspects, those roles were offered. In the operations, supply chain analyst, and then some of the operations strategy related job roles were offered. So there are again the companies, if I am naming in the manufacturing, Volvo, Hero Motors, these are all some of the prominent companies. And in consulting, Deloitte, EY, and again Hitachi, these are all some of the consulting related companies who visit our campuses. And if you name, irrespective of the sector, almost you name any sector, the top players are visiting our campus for the placement. Yeah. Am I answered your question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Ma'am, there's a student who has 20 months of work ex in a mentioned company, as he was mentioned in the YouTube live. He missed the 2 years criteria and requirement, and he filled the form. Will it affect his admission process or not?
Can you repeat the question, please? I couldn't understand. So what has he asked?
He has asked them that he has 20 months of work ex in one of the mentioned companies, and for exceptional work profile, he missed the minimum 2-year criteria. So will it affect his admission process?
No, it will not affect his admission process, but he will not be considered under exceptional profile, because exceptional profile, it is a mandate that the candidate needs to have 24 months of work experience by the time he fills up the profile detail form. So by January, he needs to have 24 months completed, 24 months of work ex in the company which is listed in the drop down. Otherwise, he will be considered as a normal candidate, but not as an exceptional profile or exceptional work ex. Normal work ex, yes, considered. Faculty will ask him questions about his work ex. All that will happen. Normal process he can continue. But under exceptional work ex category, there is certain basic minimum criteria. And one of the criteria is 24 months or above in their work experience, number of months of work experience.
Yes, answer one institution specific basic question is that what is the minimum, average, and highest CTC in the latest batch that has been placed?
Yeah. Again, this is one of the very famous, important information the students look for when they are applying for the colleges. They also wanted to know what is their return on investment, ROI, on that particular selecting a particular college. So we have again a very good placement records. Like every year, again, if I am seeing from comparing with the last year to this year, almost we got some 20% of hike in our average, and then the highest packages. So, and another important concept we have, like we have a policy of every year our minimum package should be at least minimum 1 lakh should be higher than the last year. So if I'm comparing the previous year data, last year the minimum package was 8 lakh. Now this year the target was given, it should be minimum 9 years, and we achieved that. And then again, if I'm comparing with this year to next year, the target would be minimum 10 lakhs as a package. So that's how we are working on it. To more specific to your question, we are offering a minimum package of 9 lakh as of this year, and then the average package is 12 lakhs, and the highest package was 25 lakhs. So this is what our package is. Again, year on year, we are adding the good companies, and we are trying to maximize our the placement data for the better in the coming years. Yeah.
Ma'am, what skill sets should a
Mami, यहाँ join कर
candidate possess to crack the IIT
लिया?
interview?
Join किया क्या?
Please, so I think his mic is on. Please kindly mute everyone mute your mics. Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, ma'am. What skill sets should a candidate possess to crack the IIT interview process?
What skill sets? Okay, that's a very interesting question, but I think very broad. Okay, so I will first come to what is IMT looking for in candidates. As IMT as an institution looks for candidates who have some value alignment with IMTs. Now, what is value alignment? If you look at the mission and vision of IMT campuses, and I encourage all aspirants to please look through that information, because when you apply to an institute and you want to study, take 2 years of your precious time, money, resources to join an institute, it's very important to read about the institute, right? It's like a lifetime investment for the aspirant. So you have to be very obviously from your side, you also have to be very diligent. What is the kind of institute I'm getting in? So I would encourage all aspirants to read through the website of the campus and IMT that you are very interested for them. In this case, if you're interested for IMT Hyderabad, please go through the website, the mission, vision statement. What are the values that IMT Hyderabad is promoting? What are the skill sets that basically it can be imbibed? It can be understood from their value and mission statement. That's number one. Number two is IMT always core the IMT brand is looking for a specific set of candidates where there is value alignment to IMT, which means you have to be socially conscious. You have to have the inclination to be a future business leader. Whether a business leader will be a manager in a big company or a manager in a startup or having your own entrepreneurial venture, you have to have the vision of being a future business leader. You have to, and I said you have to be socially conscious. You have to take care of not yourself but environment, sustainability. How conscious you are matters a great deal to us because we feel that that's the way businesses should grow now in the current environment. Looking at the pandemic, and now we are just emerging out of the pandemic, we have to be very conscious of that. We have to be go-getters. We're looking for candidates who are willing to make their hands dirty. So anywhere in the industry now, if you talk to your alumni, you will listen to them talking that IMT was the place where I actually learned to do things, So you have to be ready to do everything. You have to be ready to take on whatever challenges the campus is giving you in terms of academics, extracurricular, committees, clubs. So at a point of time, all of you, since you are students right now, you know how many activities you are involved with. It is not only inside the classroom, but outside the classroom. Because we believe as a brand that learning happens both inside and outside, So the faculty also judges students during the interview process like that, what kind of potential you have to learn from inside and outside the classroom. So these parameters, as we are judging you, is also in the back end kind of giving us an idea as to whether this candidate is an IMT fit, which means whether he or she is socially conscious, whether they have the inclination to be a leader or a future manager, whether they are willing to get things done and have the skill sets to kind of make their hands dirty and get things done, or whether they are just kind of sitting there to delegate responsibility to others, or whether they want to take on the challenge. So these are also skills that we are judging through the interview. So whatever you do, please make sure that if you are interested in IMT, read the information about IMT, go to the website, gather all the information necessary, be very forthcoming and honest in your interview, and whatever challenges you have faced is also learning opportunities. Please share with the faculty about them. Don't try to hide information. Don't try to, not say something which you think you should say, because at the end of the day, the faculty has taken so many interviews about they will come to know. So please be very forthcoming, honest, and confident Obviously, communication skills is key also, because as a business leader, you're supposed to have good communication skills. So you should be able to communicate well, have good analytical skills. These are basics. I mean, this is everything which every B school currently is looking for. Additionally, we are looking for value alignment. So that's what I would say. Professor Mahesh, if you have something to add, please.
Yeah, adding to Ishita, actually in IMT Hyderabad campus, we make sure that our students are socially responsible as well. For that, we have a community connect, and we encourage students to be a part of it. And students would be engaged with a lot of social responsible community related events, and they will be working closely with the many NGOs, different kind of NGOs, and which is there in Hyderabad and even beyond Hyderabad. And even in curriculum also, we give a lot of projects which is community related projects. If there are many students who are involving into that, and they are getting education, plus they also get the self satisfaction when you are helping for the needy people. So that is what it is already embedded with the curriculum as well as the program. So students will be given a plenty of opportunity to work with the near and dear one who are needy people and whom we can help. So that anyhow you are going to experience in the campus. Yeah.
And there is a one follow-up question with this, that while writing SOP in the form, what points should one consider?
So there are certain questions. If you read the candidate manual, that's why I keep on saying, please read it, because you have to read the manual before you answer the questions. So once you read the candidate manual, there will be a set of parameters which are there. What are your future career goals? How do you think a PGDM at this point will help you achieve those goals? So there are a set of 3 or 4 questions which are there to give an indication to the students about how to write their SOP. So please read through the candidate manual. And again, I'm going on and on talking about it. When you you will be sent a candidate manual, or the candidate manual is anyways updated in your candidate ERP. Click on that, read through the manual, read through the instructions of the SOP, and then write the SOP. Primarily, the SOP is trying to help the faculty read through your career goals and your journey of a PGDM. So ideally, why do you want to do PGDM at this point in your life? What are your career goals after 5 years? How do you align your career goals to a PGDM? Broadly, this is what the SOP should talk about you, so that the faculty can read through that and ask you questions based on that.
So the next question is like, how well diverse is the batch of Institute of Management Technology, Hyderabad, and what culture does it follows?
Yeah, actually, it is very interesting question. Like we have almost the diversity in terms of again educational background. We get earlier we used to get maximum students from engineering. Now we have the good number of students from all other areas as well. We have almost 30 to 35% of engineering graduates. Then we have good number of arts students and science students. We have even students from medical, after MBBS also the students are taking part of it, and again nursing. With a diverse background of education, they are there with us. And if I am talking about the geography, almost we have a representation of 24 states. Students are coming to our campus. So again, we have a good number of events, and again, the cultural events happen from the location where they are coming from. They try to represent that. And then we also have the gender diversity in terms of we are trying to increase the female again participation. Right now we have some 36% of female, remaining are male students. So overall, we have a good number of diversity, a good amount of diversity in terms of gender, educational background, and then the region where they are coming from. So again, the experience also, people are coming with diverse experience that also helps in terms of classroom teaching, and the different kind of ideas are coming out in the class. And as a overall, the campus life also, it is good, as well as the classroom teaching experience also we are getting good experience due to the diversity. Yeah, and adding to that again, the faculty also almost, if I see, the faculty are from representing almost 20 plus states. So that is also a good representation. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, how many seats does IMT Hyderabad has under each program this year?
Come again?
How many seats does IMT Hyderabad has under each program this year?
Okay, this year we have overall 300 seats, 60 from marketing, PGDM marketing, 60 PGDM financial management, and then 60 plus 60, 120, and then 180 for general management. So put together, we are having overall 300 seats for this year.
Yes, ma'am. So my next question is to Ishita ma'am. Ma'am, when can a student confirm his or her seat in the institution after the selection process?
Yeah,
Like when
so
it is
we will
confirmed?
declare the results by the 2nd or 3rd week of March. That has been a general practice. And this year also, we will follow that. As I'll just give you an idea about the timeline. By this week, you will get a PI or a booking slot mail coming from us. And you will book your slot. Please, I encourage you to book your slot as per the deadline mentioned, because then only you will get your desired date and time to attend the PI process. Also, and I want to add a little bit of a disclaimer here, because a lot of audience is listening to us. This is specific to the XAT and CMAT applicants. For the XAT applicants, since the result is not officially declared, I would encourage you, once you get your mail this week, to book your slot. Please do so. You can update your test scores and percentile when you receive the official score. So we will give you that flexibility and time. Once you receive your official test score for XAT, you will be allowed to update the score, and your campus will be automatically assigned to you as per your score. So please do not hesitate to fill up the PI booking slot, because then you will feel that, oh, I don't have my XAT score or CMAT score. How can I, please don't think that, because we will consider those scores. So please follow the process, because process is conducted only once for each candidate, right? So please follow through the process. We will consider whatever scores come in between. That is XAT. CMAT, as you know, we have not yet officially, NTA has not declared the date. Also, CMAT specific candidates who wish to apply to Hyderabad basis CMAT scores, please attend the process as per the timelines given to you by IMT. We will consider your CMAT scores when they are out, and obviously depending on our cutoff, CMAT cutoff, we will consider you for admission. So do not hesitate to follow the process, and do not hesitate to fill up the details mentioned in the email sent to you. Thinking that, oh, I don't have the scores, what will I do now? Please attend the process. We are encouraging all students to attend the process, and then basis your final scores for CMAT or XAT, we will give you the campus, and basis on a test score. So do not hesitate. So that's number one. Number two is you will be getting a PI booking slot. Once you fill the information and select your slot, you will be confirmed a date and time for your interview, which will happen in February. You will attend the interview as per the timelines. As I said in the beginning, it's an online process. Read the candidate manual. You will get all the information required for attending the interview. Once you attend the interview, Professor Sayan, could you please mute yourself? Thank you. So once you attend the interview, you will obviously be considered into our final admission cycle. And then once we collate all the results and everything, probably by the 2nd or 3rd week of March, you will be notified via the ERP or candidate portal, as well as an email. We'll not call you. We will only send an email to you, and we will notify it on the official IMT candidate portal whether you have been selected or not for a particular campus. Also, another disclaimer, I encourage all students to please keep on checking your emails. which you have registered for IMT, because you might miss something, you might miss a deadline, you might miss a booking slot, you might miss your PI dates in case you don't regularly check your official mail. So please keep checking them every day, moving on from today, every day till the end of the process. So I think I have given an idea about the timelines.
You need to unmute.
So I think we can take one more question, guys, because we are already at 11:24 and we have a next session planned at 11:30. So we have another 6 minutes. So let us have one last question, guys.
Yes, ma'am. Sir, as you were a part of the IMT Hyderabad from last many years, how do you define IMT Hyderabad in one sentence?
Yeah. Yeah, if I have to say in one line, I can say that we nurture socially responsible business leaders. So that is what our vision. We are working towards that.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am, for providing your insights. And now I will be handing over to IMT Nagpur.
Thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, students, for sparing your time. And it was a very,
Thank you,
I
ma'am.
think,
Thank you,
thank you,
students, for the
insightful session. So now,
Yes, ma'am.
at probably another 5 minutes, we will move on to IMT Nagpur. Any last minute thoughts you guys, students, have, or what I can share in just 2 minutes, that very soon you will receive your emails for the aspirants. Please be very well prepared to kind of look through them. And I again tell you, please read through the manuals. That will give you enough information about how to attend our process, because then you will get confused in the end, and we don't want any candidate to miss the process because of some confusion or miscommunication. Please read through the manual. In case you have any queries, please email to us, please call us. We are always ready to answer all your queries and concerns, but please go through diligently to the process. Only if you go through the process, you will be considered. So I wish all the very best to all IMT Hyderabad aspirants, and I hope to see you on campus very soon.
again, students, please try to see our website, go through our website. That again gives you all more details about what we discussed. All the informations are available related to curriculum, placement, and student life, and then internship. All the informations are available. You can go through our website and get more details. So all the very best. We'll hope to see you soon. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. So I think the Hyderabad team can log off now, and we'll just wait for 2-3 minutes to start the Nagpur session. Okay, we can start, team.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Nagpur team.
Thank you, Hyderabad, and welcome to all to this session on how to become a future business leader with IMT. As you know, we have Ishita ma'am with us for today's session, who is the admissions head of IMT Nagpur. From IMT Nagpur, we have Professor Sayan Banerjee sir, who is the admission chairperson of IMT Nagpur. And hello, I am Jai Goswami, and my roots are from New Delhi. Currently, I am pursuing PGDM in marketing from IMT Nagpur. Along with me is Flavia Lopez. I request Flavia to introduce herself.
Hello all, I am Flavia Lopez. I am from Mumbai and currently pursuing my PGDM in General Management from IMT Nagpur.
I request my colleague Flavia to introduce the speaker of today's webinar.
Sure, Jay. Professor Sayan Banerjee is an associate professor and the chairperson of Economics and General Management area at Institute of Management Technology, IMT Nagpur. He is currently the chairperson for admissions. He holds degree of MSc in Economics with specialization in International Trade from University of Calcutta. Sir is trained in case study-based method of teaching by Harvard Business School, Boston. He is currently pursuing his doctoral in area of management. Sir has more than 22 years of teaching, research, and consultancy experience. He teaches subjects of economics of globalization and multinational corporations, macroeconomic principles and policies, industrial economics and competitive strategy, and business environment to the graduate students. Sir has been a corporate trainer and an in-house resource person for various corporations in India that includes Asian Paints Limited, NTPC Limited, RPG Enterprise, L&T Industries, Mercedes-Benz Research and Development Unit of India, Dr. Reddy's Lab Hyderabad, Accenture Bangalore, to name a few. Now I request Professor Sayan Banerjee and Ms. Ishita to say a few words and begin this session.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. As you already know that our application process has started and you are applying to the campuses of various campuses of IMT. IMT Nagpur being one of them. IMT Nagpur, if I would share with you, is the second campus of the IMT group. It started in 2004 and it's almost now 20 years in its existence. There are several programs that we offer. The one that has the most intake is PGDM, followed by PGDM marketing, and then there is PGDM financial management. And I hope to interact with both the students and the audience and give you more detail about the admission process, as well as how these three programs have been designed, implemented to make sure that we are churning out business leaders who are ready to deal with the challenges and also grab the opportunities of the future.
So, hi everyone, a very good morning. I am Ishita and I head admissions and marketing for IMT Group, including all the IMT campuses and programs. I, along with my colleague, Professor Sayan, are here today to answer all your queries and concerns related to IMT Nagpur's admission process, programs, specializations, major, minors, campus life, SIP, placements, etc. This is a very crucial juncture of your admission journey with IMT Nagpur because, as you all are aware, we are at the end of January and it is typically by first week of February when the admission process of all B school commences. And the CAT results are already out. The ZAT results will be out probably very, very soon, any day now. CMAT, obviously NT has not declared the date, but we are expecting them to declare it very soon. So all NBA aspirants who wish to be in the batch of 2023 are, I'm sure, very, very nervous and eagerly waiting for the process to unfold. And you may have a lot of queries and concerns. So what we have done this year in the information counseling session is a departure from previous years. What we thought was more pertinent to aspirants is to get their queries resolved about the process, about the campus. So we have kind of looked through our previous 2-3 years data and collated some few commonly asked queries and concerns and posted them as questions, which the students of IMT Nagpur, because they just crossed the hurdle last year or the year before, and they're sitting with us today to kind of ask Professor Sayan and me those queries, and we will do our best to answer them. They will also take some live queries from the audience and post them to us. And in the next probably 45 minutes to an hour, we kind of hope that most of your concerns about the process will get addressed, and you can do it as seamlessly as possible. Just a couple of pointers before we start. Number one, very soon, any day of this week, you will receive a mail from us, all the aspirants, about booking your slot for the interview. I encourage all participants to check their email regularly every day. That's number one. Number two, there will be some instructions in the mails about reading information on the manuals. I reiterate this again and again. Please read the candidate manuals before you attend the process, because we don't want anyone to be confused and not attend the process or miss attending the process because of lack of clarity. So please read the manuals carefully. Please read the emails carefully. Any questions, you can email or call us. We are ready to answer, but please make sure to do that, because we don't want anybody to be hassled at the last minute. And please follow through the instructions so that your process is as seamless as possible. So that is related to the admission process. And now we can start without any further delay.
Flavia or Jay, any one of you, the questions that we have identified that most of the candidates may have in their mind, we can start with them, please.
Awesome. Okay, sir. So starting off with the program structure of IMT Nagpur, can you please brief the aspirants about the program structure that we follow?
Yes. Now see, as in the beginning, I have mentioned that we offer 3 programs. One is PGDM. Sometimes it is also known as PGDM Core, PGDM Full-Time, PGDM General. But essentially, the program is titled PGDM. And then there is the second one, PGDM Marketing. And finally, the third one, PGDM Financial Management. Now, in these 3 programs, the main distinction is that if you are selected in PGDM, in the second year, when you opt for specialization, you can choose any 2 areas as your specialization out of the 7 areas that we have. That is finance, marketing, operation, BAIT, economics, and OBHR. While for the PGDM marketing has to be one of your 2 specializations, which means that out of 7, 1 is already pre-decided for you. The other one can be any of the rest 6 areas. So you can opt for finance as your second specialization, BAIT, OBHR, whatever catches your fancy, or you feel you are going to do better in your career with that as your second specialization. And same goes with PGDM Financial Management, where finance becomes your pre-decided one major areas of specialization, and the second could be any of the rest 6 areas. Please note, even though the programs are different, the structure of the first year courses for all the 3 programs in the first 2 trimesters is absolutely the same. In the third trimester, there would be some marginal differences, maybe 1 or 2 courses. It's only in terms of specialization, the second year, where you may see some substantial changes or differences among the programs. So one of the common queries that we quite often receive, that which program is better, which one is going to give us more career options and all. My answer to those queries would be, please remember all these three programs are AICTE approved. They have received accreditation from SATs. They are AIU equivalent, and the institute as a whole is on verge of getting ACSB accreditation. So there is nothing like a better program or more lucrative program or wider choice, career choice offering program, nothing like it. You would have the same set of faculty teaching across three programs, right? You will be studying the same textbook, same Harvard case studies and all, as far as all the common courses are concerned. So even though there are three different programs, quality-wise, career-wise, scope-wise, support-wise, faculty-wise, there is absolutely no difference. They are all IMT Nagpur's program. Yes.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, lots of aspirants have the queries regarding the admission process of the IMT Nagpur. I request you to please help them to understand better.
Of course, this is a question that Ms. Kundu would definitely be in a better position to answer, but I would share what is the admission philosophy that we follow. Our philosophy is very simple. It is equal opportunity and merit-based selection process. You just have to prove to the admission committee, the admission team, the panel member that you have the talent, you have the desire and the passion and the attitude to do well in this program that you have opted for, and you show some signs of spark that we look for in a candidate. Just to give you some detail, this is the broader philosophy that we follow. Our admission process takes into consideration various dimensions of the applicants and not just one single dimension, that you have certain score in CAT or ZAT or CMAT. These are the three, and GMAT. These are the four we take into consideration. And then you believe that this is what it takes, that I have got the required percentile and I'll be selected. It's not even the case that you just apply and appear for a PI, and just because you are there for the PI, you are selected. You have to prove your worthiness in multiple, how do I put, dimensions, and in multiple ways in which we will try to judge and gauge your ability to do well in the program. Starting with, of course, the score, the CAT score, ZAT, CMAT, and GMAT score. That's definitely the first level of selection process. But we will also take into consideration your academic performance from your 10th standard, not just your graduation even. 10th, 12th, graduation, these will be taken into consideration. We'll also look for some of your extraordinary achievements as a student in your school or in your college, and extraordinary achievements could be in multiple ways. Probably we will share the detail even more, but that becomes another important requirement. We will look for your work experience and the quality of work that you have done all these years. When you are not a student, you had a job, full-time job. We will look at both the position you are in, the profile you are in, the organization you work for, the duration that you have worked for. That would be another parameter. And of course, we will be encouraging a lot of diversity in our classroom. That includes academic diversity, that would include gender diversity. Maybe we can discuss in detail later on and clarify on those. But the whole point is the selection process will be multiple. So you are doing well in PI is not a guarantee that you will be selected, nor is the case that just because you have a high correct percentile, you'll be there. It will be a thorough selection process because we make sure that we pick the best of the lot to get admission. So if I have to summarize, and Ms. Kundu can add if I have missed out on anything, the selection is based on your CAT, XAT, CMAT, and GMAT score. It will also be based on your performance in critical thinking write-up that you will be submitting on a day of PI, your performance in PI. Along with that, your academic record, your work experience, and add to that gender, academic diversity, plus some exceptional achievements. Over to you, Ms. Kundu.
So I think you have summarized the points well. So I would not delve into that because I think most of the points have been covered by you. I would also, I just want to add to students who might not have one of the parameters very well shown in their profile. Because there are some candidates who might say that, oh, my academics is not this great. How do I compensate? Or I may not have an extraordinary profile, things like that. So for those candidates, please understand that we are looking at a holistic application profile from you. In case one of the parameters is not sufficient or there are gaps in your profile, the most logical way to kind of overcome it is to answer the during the interview. The faculty will pose you questions related to that, to answer it as in a very forthcoming manner, and also to be very logical about those gaps, and also what did you do to overcome those gaps. Suppose one of you may have a very good test score and may not have a good academic, so you have to be very forthcoming about it. You have to provide logical answers, and also you have to kind of share how did you overcome those gaps in your profile. If you don't have an extraordinary profile, it's okay. If you have a good test score and a good background in academics and work experience, that too is considered. If you don't have extraordinary work experience, that's also okay. If you did well in your undergrad, have a decent test score, come from a decent background, it's fine with us in terms of your profile. That's also so it is not that every candidate needs to have everything. We are looking at, yes, good profiles, good test scores, and also students who will be able to justify to us during the interview process about their background, gaps in their background, gaps in their career, and come up with very logical explanations about learnings. What have they learned out of it, and how have they overcome it, and how do they think a PGDM will help them to some extent to advance in their career. So that's I think that's additional to what Professor Sayan has said. Rest, I think the timelines, a little bit of an idea is sometime this week you will receive a mail on your PI slot booking. We encourage you to do that because, as you all aware, first week of February is usually when we start the process. So when you receive the mail this week, you will also have details about the process. February is when we conduct your interview along with your critical thinking. Then sometime in March, second week is when or third week is when we declare your results. So it will start from now. So be very diligent about getting all the information, reading the mails, reading your manuals, and be prepared for the process. So that's additionally from me.
Okay, sir. So a lot of aspirants have queries regarding how to start preparing for the PI rounds or what we are looking for. So can you please help on that?
Right. As Ms. Kundu has already highlighted, one of the things you need to do when you appear for the PI process is to make sure that you are honest, sincere, and pretty transparent about yourself, your achievements, your failures, your ambition, and all these things. Do not try to beat around bushes. Don't try to dodge a question. Don't give a very vague kind of response and all. Because see, diplomatic answers are not something that is appreciated by any of the members of the panel that would interview you. Because this is our way of looking at you as a person, as the potential candidate or a student who will be sitting in our classroom. The basic question we ask after the interview is over, that do I want to see this person in my classroom or not? So anybody who try to act smart or does not come across as a very sincere person, comes across as a person who is quite shifty in nature and all, we would not like that. So this is the must part of what it needs to be, which is quite a cliche to use, that be yourself. It's a cliche, but it actually matters. As far as your preparation is concerned, please remember the interview process that we have. We try to figure out some of the aspects, some of the dimensions of your ability. The first one is, of course, your communication. And communication must not be confused with the ability to talk fluently and speak good English or anything of that sort, which is an important aspect, but that's not the only thing. Communication also means that you listen to the questions that are being posed to you carefully and answer precisely what is being asked, and do not go on and on about something just because you are gifted with a silver tongue, right? Please be very precise, understand the question, and answer as much as being asked. Second, or the third aspect is, you have to brush up some of your basic concepts and ideas of graduation and your school days, because there would be questions related to your domain knowledge. You also need to keep yourself updated with the latest happening in the field of business, economics, finance, and politics. Yes, even though you may not like it, because we also try to find out what is the general level of curiosity you have. Do you keep yourself updated with things that are happening which is beyond your academic interest, right? So even if you have a 90% score in your graduation as an engineer and you cannot answer who's the vice president of India kind of thing, it may not reflect badly on your academic ability, but that definitely reflect badly on your personality trait. That is, you are not very curious person. You do not venture out beyond your comfort area or something. So keep yourself updated with that, right? And then please be very focused and clear about your career goal, the career ambition, the career path you have chosen for yourself. For example, if you have chosen, say, PGDM Finance as your first preference among the 3 programs for which you are applying to IMT Nagpur, you must be able to tell us that why it is finance that you feel is the right kind of program for you given your career ambition. So if you say that my career ambition is to become an entrepreneur and that's why I have chosen finance, you understand that does not sound very convincing. But if you say that I want to build my career in the field of investment banking, I want to see myself as at a higher position in some multinational corporations dealing with all these big companies and sovereign wealth fund and all, will be impressed. We would understand that, okay, you know what you want to do and what this program is for, right? So these are some of the things you have to be careful about: your communication, your domain knowledge, your general knowledge, and a clear focus and ideas about your career plan, career path, and how IMT Nagpur and a certain program of IMT Nagpur fits into the plan of scheme of things that you have planned for yourself, right? Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Sir, many of the aspirants are unaware about the scholarship policies, especially with the scholarship for the female aspirants. Can you please explain them for everyone?
Okay. If you recall, in the beginning, I have said that we follow an equal opportunity and merit-based selection process. An equal opportunity means that if you have the merit, if you have the talent, even if you are disadvantageous in terms of your financial and economic abilities, let's say the cost of education, etc., we will not let that become a hindrance in your higher education. We will help you financially in many of the ways. Let me highlight some of them. If you are a high scoring candidate in CAT and XAT, is 90 percentile and above, you will get almost 40% of your academic fees refunded by way of scholarship. So for you, the cost of education will be just 60% of what others would pay. And believe me, it's a substantial amount. If you do the calculation, we share all the details of expenses and all, it's a substantial amount. If you are classified as economically weaker sections of the society, we are ready to waive off the entire academic fees for both years of the program. You will get EWS scholarship as well, and that would be up to 90% of the intake. Apart from the financial and economic hardship that puts some candidates in the disadvantaged condition, we also understand that even today, unfortunate that may be, education for girl children, especially at a postgrad level, is still a challenge, especially if the program comes with a slightly higher cost. Keeping that in mind, and to encourage gender diversity, we have announced a flat 20% of academic fees by way of refund as a scholarship for all the female candidates. So whether you are economically well off or you are economically weaker or anything, doesn't matter. The very fact that you have decided to pursue post-graduation despite all the social constraint that female candidates may face, we appreciate that, and there will be a 20% scholarship for all the female candidates who apply to IMT Nagpur for any of the 3 programs. Ma'am, in case I have missed out something, you may please add.
Yeah, so there is a scholarship for highly meritorious students who get a certain cutoff in CADSAT or GMAT. We also offer some amount of scholarships to them because in the classroom, we are also looking at high merit students, which enhance the classroom experience. So we definitely provide a percentage of scholarship in their academic fees for all high percentilers in CADSAT and GMAT who get an admission into IMT Nagpur. So all the details of these scholarships which are there is available on the websites of IMT Ghaziabad, IMT Nagpur, IMT Hyderabad, since it's a common process. In the common admission page, you will find details of each and every scholarships. In addition to this, I think tuition fee waiver is something which you have spoken about. We give a TFW fee waiver to economically backward sections of society. They have to fill in the documentation for it. And they have to upload all the necessary documents which are listed on the website currently. And once they share the documents, there will be a scholarship committee which is formed and which kind of scrutinize the documents and intent of the student. And in case they are selected for IMT Nagpur, TFW fee waiver is provided to them. There is also it's not a fee waiver, but there is also a policy of the government for Kashmiri migrants to give them a leeway and relaxation in admission. We definitely follow that. That information is also there on the website. So I encourage all aspirants to check the various waivers, scholarships, and other details on the IMT website. And if they qualify for any of them, there are some deadlines related to some of the waivers. I would encourage everyone to stick to the deadline, fill up the information as per the deadline, because since we have to disperse those waivers and scholarships and we have internal committees for same, we do not extend those deadlines. So please look through the website for detailed information and fill up the necessary forms and documentation needed.
Right. Any other question?
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir. So many aspirants would like to start their own business or have startups in future. So, sir, can you please help the aspirants understand how IMT Nagpur will help them in their dreams?
Of course. Now, this has become a trend in the last few years that instead of being a job seeker, we will also encourage people to become job creators. That is, people who would become entrepreneurs. They could be entrepreneur for the first time, the first generation in the family, or they can even join their family business and make substantial changes, turn around their businesses, revamp the businesses and all. And there are several ways in which we try to encourage that kind of entrepreneurship and the spirit, and we provide the support that is needed. In our program structure itself, there are courses that help you to understand some of the additional challenges or additional learning that is needed and required to become an entrepreneur. So there are dedicated courses on it. We have an e-sale where there are various activities that we carry out. The whole idea is to provide a future entrepreneur with the adequate kind of connections and network that is needed, either to get business idea or to raise fund or anything of that sort. We have an annual entrepreneurship program in which we invite participants from various parts of India in B schools. We invite venture capitalists and all. We have B plan competitions, and the winners are given some amount of seed money and other kind of support from the venture capitalists or the mentoring that is available through this kind of programs and all. So the whole idea is not to just promote and create managerial and leadership skill for people who are looking for jobs, but also there is enough inputs that we provide, support we provide to make sure that those who want to become an entrepreneur, first generation, or make changes in their existing businesses, there is enough support, learning, and network that is provided to each one of you, right? And I'm happy to state that there have already been various ventures that is already in operation. Some of them are doing very good. We get our alumni who have gone out and become successful entrepreneurs to interact with the potential entrepreneurs and give them some tips and ideas, provide them with the mentoring facilities and all. So there is an emphasis that is given, not just managerial skills, but also entrepreneurship skills, right? Yes.
Thank you, sir. Sir, as many of the students wants to build a networking with top industry leaders, can you please elaborate how the students in IMT Nagpur can build their networking?
Okay. Now, one of the important things that in a B school you would try to do, not just learn the tricks of the businesses, not just learn the theories, or maybe some hands-on experience of industrial visit and all, but also build a lifelong network through your alma mater. Now, there are several ways in which it is done. One is we engage and involve the corporations in the learning process extensively. At least 2 of the sessions out of 20 sessions that are conducted for each of the courses are made available for inviting people from the corporate who come address the students and share with them the latest that is happening and how the course that they are undergoing, what part of the learning process of the course is thoroughly implemented, used, and would be necessary for running businesses, etc. We have more than 100 senior level guests from the corporate who visit throughout the year, and we have various sessions conducted under the Corporate Interaction Committee, CIC committee. You will know about the committees later on in detail in some one or the other webinar. So that is another way you get to interact with them. And then we also have all these events. As I said, that there is e-sale that conduct an event. In fact, today itself, there is an event happening, the CXO Conclave, we call it Netritva. It's a 2-day affair. Again, the same thing happens. The captains of the industry, they visit the campus. They would have panel discussion. There will be competitions. There will be lecture series and all. All these gives you the opportunity to build a network and get connected with the very successful entrepreneurs and business personalities. Plus, IMT Nagpur itself has more than 4,500 alumni who are at various stages of their career, and some of them are very senior position in corporations. Plus, there is alumni network of the IMT group, which has, I think, more than 20,000 alumni in it, who are at a various levels, very accomplished, well-known industrialists, business personalities, and all. All the alumni chapter meets that happen, whether at IMT group or for each of the campuses, is again an opportunity for you to get connected with them and build network that help you in many of the ways, mentoring, even financing, and many of the other things that you would need at different stages in your career. Yes.
Can we take some audience questions in between? I think there are many questions posted on YouTube Live. So
Yes,
can we take some of
definitely.
them as
Let's
well?
hear from
Yeah.
them as well if they
Yeah.
have something.
So Flavia and Jay, can you
Yes, sir.
please post some questions by audience?
Okay, sir. So one hot question here is about the international exchange program that IMT Nagpur is providing. So can you please shed light on that?
Okay. Now, this is something we are happy to inform has been restarted. 2 years of COVID and a gap in that. But this year, we already have sent a bunch of students to Paris B School. I forgot the name of it. This year itself, they have just left for it. In principle, we have tie-ups with 25 plus international B schools that are located at different parts of the world. We have B schools in Europe and US and Australia, and even in Asia and Korea and all, right? Under this exchange program, what we have is two-way exchange. The students from these institutes, they visit our campus, spend 1 trimester, go through the program, and their assessment happens, the credit gets transferred. The same thing happens with our student as well. Of course, as I have said, last 2 years it did not happen, but this year onwards, we are restarting, right? And by the time you will be in your 3rd trimester this year, or that would be almost next year, you will definitely have opportunity to visit any of the B schools that we have tie-ups with. Now, as far as the cost implication is concerned, you have to bear the cost of travel, visa, and your local stay there. As far as the cost of the fees for the program, that is completely waived off. And anyone who scores certain minimum percentile or gets certain minimum CGPA is eligible to be a part of it. Apart from this structured one, sometimes we also have some sort of what is known as STEP, short-term exchange program, under which some students may visit our sister campuses abroad, and not campuses, campus abroad, that is Dubai, where they could visit for 10 days or so. They can have interaction with the local entrepreneurs and corporations and all. STEP, again, due to COVID, has not been implemented for the last 2-3 years, but we will definitely look at reviving it and have that STEP as well, apart from the structured international programs, the international exchange programs. Yes.
Thank you, sir. There's one query from the Jitin, who has been asking for the regarding TWF, TFW. He's asking about in whose name do I need to produce the income certificate form, and what all need to include in the family income.
Yeah, so family income involves everyone in his immediate family who is staying with him or who are dependents, is the total family income. As per the government regulations for TFW, it is 8 lakhs is the maximum. So any candidates whose overall family income as vetted by the Tehsildar of the district. So there is a particular income certificate which is provided by the Tehsildar, and that is a standard format as per the state. So every state and district has a separate format. So in the format of the state, for example, UP will have a different format than Maharashtra. But in the state format, the Tehsildar will have to verify that the overall household income means whoever is involved in the house is less than 8 lakhs INR for the year. If that vetting is provided and that certificate is provided along with the documents, any supportive documents that the candidate may have in forms of ITR, in form of Form 16 can be given to us in uploading section. We will consider the candidate to take to the further round. So there is a further round where the scholarship committee will sit together, evaluate the candidate documents. If needed, call the candidate up and ask for additional documentation, for a short interview or a survey with the candidate to understand, and then select him. Please note that there is a maximum number of students we give per program, this TFW. So in case the maximum number, the numbers exceed the maximum number of students, applicants and qualified, we will look at the merit, overall admission merit of the candidate and offer the TFW the top merit ranking. So you have to understand there is obviously there's a number of seat capacity for TFW as well as documentation and final recommendation from the scholarship committee. But the student is basically annual income is household income of the student as vetted by the Tehsildar.
And to add to Ms. Kundu's information, at any stage when you are applying or you are looking for documents and all, there are numbers, phone numbers, mobile numbers that are given on the website and admission brochures and all. Please feel free to call the person and get the detail in case you still have some confusion. We are always there to solve any of your queries related to admission. Next question, please.
Okay, we have one more question, sir. Hello, my name is, there's no name actually. I have 2 HR internship certificates. So will I be considered as an experienced candidate or a fresher candidate?
I want to take this question. So please understand that WorkX is full-time postgraduate work experience after you finish your graduation. If it's a professional work experience, not an internship, if it's a professional work experience of more than 1 year, more than 12 months, we consider this candidate as a WorkX candidate. All other candidates are considered freshers as per our definition of work experience. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, if you're coming in as an exceptional work experience candidate and you're filling the profile detail form under that category, we have a cutoff relaxation, but only for candidates who meet the eligibility criteria of minimum of 2 years managerial WorkX. So you have to have, in that case, in case you're applying as an exceptional WorkX candidate, you have to have 24 months or above of managerial WorkX in the companies which are listed in the drop down only. If in case your company is not listed in the drop down, you will not be considered as an exceptional WorkX candidate. You'll only be considered as a normal WorkX candidate, right? And normal would mean plus 1 year, 12 months and above in a full-time WorkX capacity, not internship, not part-time WorkX capacity.
Thank you, ma'am. This one another question from Ankit, as he's asking about, I am an engineer and working in operations with no finance background, but now I wanted to enter in finance. Then how can I justify in PI rounds?
Professor Sayan, I think you can take
As
this.
I have said, that you have to show the reason why you want to do it. If you say that I want to pursue my career in finance, despite the fact I am an engineer and I have experience in operation and on, and I don't want to offer PGDM full-time course and take operation as my specialization, you must have some reason, right? Whatever that reason is, you have to share that reason with the panel members, and we have to be convinced that yes, whatever he is suggesting. But please remember, your academic background may not matter much when you are applying for a PGDM program. For example, we have students who have been a MBBS, a doctor, was completed MBBS, but then decided to opt for PGDM, and that person opted for PGDM in marketing. But you have to explain, you have to tell us that why you feel that you want to make this transition. that I don't want to stay in the operation field anymore. I want to enter into the field of finance because of these reasons. We cannot give you the answer. We don't know why you want to do it, right? You know why you want to do it. You just share it with us, right? Okay, next question. Yes, Apeksha? Okay, it may be by mistake. Go ahead if there is any other query. Flavia, please.
Yes, sir. So there's a query from Pranav Bhatia. He's asking, what are we specifically looking for in a fresher with no work experience?
Okay. As in the beginning, I have said, and ma'am has also emphasized on the fact that the selection process is based on multiple dimensions and not just one. That's the whole important point. So the selection is not based on whether you have work experience or you do not have work experience. No. Work experience is one of the many things that we look for. So you being a fresher is not something that puts you in a disadvantageous condition comparison to somebody who has work experience. So please remove that thought from your mind. As ma'am had very nicely explained that you don't do well in one, but if you do in some well in other, that is good enough, right? So that is the first thing. And second, since you say that what are the expectations of the panel member, obviously we understand you are a fresher. Therefore, the questions that we generally ask to people who have work experience as like what has been their contribution to the organization they are working, what has been their learning on the job, what kind of peer pressure they have faced or something, you would not expect these questions to be asked to you, right? The expectations would be that you would show keen interest in pursuing your career in management. You have the passion, you have the ambition, right? Whether you have work ex or not, doesn't matter, right? Next question.
Thank you, sir. I think one student is asking about the campus life at IMT Nagpur and how it has helped the students building their career by joining the ventures and other student-driven activities.
I think part of the question can be answered by you guys only because you are more familiar with campus life. But I think Professor Sen can start off and you guys can add, right?
Yes, that makes much better sense because I'm not a student. So I don't know the campus from a student's perspective. But what I can tell you is that in the campus, you get ample opportunity to enjoy your life to the fullest. Okay. You should not consider this institute as a place that is very, very serious and it is a place of back-breaking hard work and people are absolutely dull and boring. There are nerdy kind of things. A lot of things that happen, right? At any point in time, if you walk in the late in the night and all, you will see people moving around, sitting together, discussing cases. Some people are just enjoying a cup of tea or coffee and all this. We have a late night cafe that remains open, I think till 3 o'clock or something like that. So that's the overall thing. But as a philosophy, from the campus perspective, we believe in empowering students and giving them sufficient responsibility in carrying out various activities. So we have certain committees that are entrusted with some of the very important tasks of the institutions. We have a placement committee, even though we have dedicated placement head and staff and all, but they are supplemented, complemented, supported, and they also to a large extent depend on the students who become part of the committee. So placement, you understand, a very important activity is partly, if not fully, student. I talked about the corporate interaction committee, right? Connecting with the corporate, organizing the corporate talks and all. Again, there is a committee that does that. We have sports committee, we have alumni committee, and there are several others. Every committee members is entrusted with the duties and responsibilities that help them enjoy and experience for the first time some of the managerial tasks that you have to carry out, like organizing stuff, planning for things, getting in touch with people, right? Building network, raising fund, promoting an event, organizing it as per the schedule, dealing with last minute glitches and all, right? So this campus will give you ample opportunity outside the classroom to kind of experience the thrill of managing, organizing, getting connected with a lot of people. But again, as ma'am had suggested, Flavia and Jay, if you can add something in terms of the facilities that you have enjoyed, the support that you have, anything, up to you.
So I would like to start first, if Flavia allows. Basically, campus life in IMT is one of the best life that I am living here, because being in the committee not only helps in my public speaking, but it also helps me to building a network with top business leaders who is currently working in the corporates. And in the campus right now, the venture which is helping me a lot. I'm also a part of some of the ventures here, helping me to understand about how the business work, but it also helped me to build my mindset about how entrepreneurship works. How should I build strategies? How should I build marketing strategies so that I can able to market my product currently in my campus, so that if in future I got placement in the big companies, I can be ready for that particular company, and I can be ready for how it company works and how to be in the team, how to make strategies. This is best thing that I have learned from the IMT campus life.
Flavia,
Flavia,
if
you
you
have.
would like to add something, yes. Being a girl students, what are the additional facilities and support?
So firstly, about the security and everything. So I've never faced any issues regarding security. Been a female student, we get different hostels, and even the working in different committees. I have understood how to work in groups, the different ventures that have helped students and me as well to understand how businesses work. So that has been really great. Even the nightlife at our campus is really amazing. I mean, yeah, that's all. That's all.
I think there is a session that is organized in next week itself, where there will be 2-3 students who will talk to the participants of the webinar or something regarding their experience and life in general in campus. I think sometimes 24th, 25th. So those who are attending this webinar and this live session, I would suggest you please attend that as well. We will be definitely giving you the exact date and time through the social media and all. And you could have interaction with more number of participants there. Yes,
Yeah.
I think we are.
Yeah,
on the
probably
fag end
another
of-
2-3 minutes. So we can take one last question, guys.
Yes.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. So there's one last question we can take it to from the Ankit. He's asking about, does SOP affects PI? Is it necessary to have a certificate to add something to extracurriculum activity in personal detail form?
No, so yes, so a couple of things. One is, yes, SOP is mandatory. You have to write an SOP. There are some parameters about how to write an SOP involved in the candidate manual and in the form. Please take a look at those questions. There's some question on career goals, on why do you want to pursue the PGDM. So based on that, please build your SOP and write a strong SOP for the faculty to read through it and ask you questions, because it will be a guide to the faculty to ask you specific questions related to your career. So that's number one. Spend some time in the SOP. Don't copy paste the SOP, because please understand, we have interviewed thousands of students, and we know when it's a copy paste job and when it's a genuine document. So please, even if it's even if there are some gaps or some issues, please write your own SOP. Don't copy paste it. Secondly, in case you're applying as an exceptional profile candidate, with where you want to mention your extracurricular ventures, maybe you have opened an social enterprise or an NGO, whether you have worked with a renowned NGO or a social enterprise or a sustainability enterprise, which you want to highlight in your profile so that IMT considers you as an exceptional profile, then definitely you have to prove documentation, because once the interviews are over, we will check your documentation before offering you a seat based on exception. For that exceptional profile, you definitely need to have a document attached to justify your exceptional profile. For a normal candidate for extracurricular, no, you don't. There is no mandate of providing proof. But during the interview, if you have put on something as extracurricular, have to be sure that the faculty will ask you questions related. Now, suppose you write, I read fiction books. So the faculty will definitely ask you questions about fiction, what kind of fiction books you read, what do you want to read, what have you learned from them. So when you're writing about an extracurricular or a hobby, please be genuine. So that's my own thing. If you're actually interested, write about it. If you're not, don't write for the sake of being nice in your profile, because the faculty will catch you. So be very diligent about what you put, because it's pen and paper. Be very diligent about what information you put. So I think we have around 2 minutes more before we move on to IMT Ghaziabad. So just like few words from me before I hand over to Professor Sayan. As I said in the beginning, please understand that your interview dates will be announced soon. We will share you the PI slot booking. Be diligent about getting your dates as per your time and convenience. And a special something for XAT applicants. As I told you, results are not out, but please attend the process and mark the process as per the deadlines mentioned, because we will give you time to fill out your XAT scores. We will consider you as per your XAT scores. So do not back out from attending the process. Same for CMAT. We will consider your CMAT scores when we finally offer you IMT Nagpur. So please attend the process as per the timeline. Don't miss the process, because you might not get a chance later on, right? So these are my kind of whatever I had to say. Professor Sayan, closing notes before we end the session.
Again, we close our session with emphasizing on the simple fact that in our institute, we accept candidate who is meritorious and deserving, and it is up to you to prove your worth. Okay, there is nothing that would hold you back, your financial conditions, your gender, or any of the other things that may makes you feel different or anything of that sort. We are absolutely merit driven one. We are here to make sure that you get best of the educations and you start best of the with best of the jobs and other things, right? The 2 years that you are going to spend here will be 2 years that you at some point in time will definitely consider as one of the best time of your life, not just in terms of learning, but building networks, right? Making friends, building a lifetime relationship with some of your faculty and all. And we guarantee that you would always consider the decision to join IMT Nagpur as one of the best decisions you have taken in your life, right? We eagerly wait for you to join our institute, and we'll definitely be there at different stages of the admission process. As I have already mentioned, there are numbers that are given on our website and the admission brochure. At any point in time, remember, the interaction is not limited to only these chat sessions or live sessions or something. At any point in time, anything that you feel not very sure about, want some assistance, some help, some clarification, give us a call. We'll get back to you, right? And we keep sending you reminders through SMSs and WhatsApp messages and email. Please keep checking them, right? And respond to them whenever there is some response that is needed from our end, from you, right? And stay in touch. All the very best and prepare well, right? Thank you.
All the best. So I think the Nagpur team can please log off now, and we continue with the next session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, students.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, students,
ma'am.
for sparing your time. Rinku, we can start probably in 2 minutes. We'll wait
Yes,
for some
ma'am.
students
Yes,
to join.
yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Okay, we can start, Rinku, I think now.
Wait a minute.
Yes. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Aman Vijaya, PGDM first year student at IMT Ghaziabad, and I will be moderating the session from here. So it gives me immense pleasure to take forward this session admission camp as we move on to the next step, which is IMT Ghaziabad. For all those who have joined now, let me introduce to you all Ms. Ishita Kundu, our first speaker for the day. Ms. Kundu is the head of marketing and admissions at IMT, taking care of all marketing initiatives for the brand IMT, as well as monitoring the admission process for all campuses of IMT. Armed with an MBA from Hult International Business School, she has been an integral part of IMT since 2012, prior to which she had worked in various companies in the education sector, including IMS and the Princeton Group. Next, I warmly welcome our esteemed professor, Dr. Harvinder Singh. So Dr. Harvinder Singh is the admission chairperson for IMT Ghaziabad campus and a professor in the marketing department area. He has been a part of the education fraternity for 23 plus of years. He has taught as visiting faculty at international business schools in Spain, Israel, and UAE. His book, Mall Management Operating Indian Retail Space, published by McGraw-Hill, is a widely used book on this theme in India. Now, I also warmly welcome all the aspirants who have joined in now. So with IMT Ghaziabad having a legacy of over 40 years and being one of the leading MBA institutes in the country, we have queries from candidates coming all over from the country who all aspire here to be someday. So I begin the session with some frequent queries. Before that, ma'am, and so if you would like to say any words, over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. A very warm welcome to all the aspirants who have joined now. Good afternoon, Professor Harvinder and Naman, and to the rest of my admissions team here as we begin our session for IMT Ghaziabad. So I think Aman has kind of described IMT Ghaziabad very nicely. It's a 40 plus year institute with a very, very rich legacy. As we are entering a very crucial and exciting phase for aspirants now, we are sitting in the end of January. And very soon you will receive communication about the admission process, which comprises of the interview and the critical thinking test. And very soon you will be shortlisted as per your test scores and other parameters for each of the IMT campuses, particularly IMT Ghaziabad. I'm sure a lot of you have many concerns and queries related to IMT Ghaziabad, its programs, its specializations, its pedagogy, SIP placements, admission process, how do we select a candidate, what is the steps from now, what are the timelines. So we thought we'll kind of change the format of the INC a little bit and kind of have a current student who is Aman, who is our student at IMT Ghaziabad and also a member of our admission committee, to kind of pose those kind of queries which he has gathered from the students to us, to Professor Harvinder and me, and we try to our best of our ability to answer those questions. And we'll also take some live questions from the audience who are sitting here and try to understand and address some of the queries they have related right now about IMT Ghaziabad. So without any further ado, Professor Harvinder, if you'd like to say a few words, and then we can begin.
Well, I'll be very brief. Welcome, everyone. We really appreciate you being here. There is nothing more exciting than interacting with the young, bright students in the classroom. And the whole process that we are contemplating is geared towards selecting the best brains in India. And we hope you make it to our class. Thank you very much.
Yes, Aman, you can start with the questions. I think you are on mute. If you can unmute yourself.
Okay, ma'am. Sorry. So first question, which is very common, is what does IMT look for in candidates while shortlisting them, and on what criteria do IMT Ghaziabad evaluates them during the process?
So I'll take up this question. So broadly, I will go to the broad, what are we looking for in aspirants, and then go a little bit in the specifics of selection. Broadly, we are looking for students who align with the values of IMT. So as I was telling in my previous sessions, we would want you to go through our website, go through our mission and vision statements, go through our value statements, and figure out if you're a right fit. That's point number one. You want to yourself be aligned to our values, and we have several mission and vision, which how we look at business, how we look at grooming future business leaders. Please go through them. Look at this information and see your value alignment. So at the broad area, we're looking at IMT fit students or students who have the value systems which kind of merge with IMT. To be very specific, excuse me, what we are looking for is students who have very good profiles for IMT Ghaziabad, students who have good test scores, because yes, test score is a benchmark and the initial parameter that we judge students on, which is for any business, top 10 business schools of the country. We are looking for those similar characteristics in terms of test scores. We are also looking for students who are good academically in their 10th, 12th graduation, who have come from good institutes of repute in their undergrad, whether it's engineering, whether it's non-engineering. We are also looking, because we know that the competitive exams which students come from, a CAD, SAT, GMAT, are engineer focused. Yeah, a lot of students are engineers. We also looking for diversity. So we also have a merit parameter for students who come from non-engineering premier colleges of India. Yeah, so we are looking at good students who are non-engineers. We are looking at students in the value of their work experience, what work experience they have. If they are work students, if they are freshers, no. If in case they are work students, there are further questions related to the profile of the student, the reputation of the company they are working with. What about their roles and designation? We are looking at probing those questions, and we want questions, students with good, who come in with good, rich work experience, because that is the demand of the classroom as well as the final outcome, which is placements. So we're looking at those profile of students. In addition to this, we are also giving merit and test score relaxation to students who come in with extraordinary or exceptional profile and exceptional work ex. So exceptional profile has some background criteria, which means that a student, in case a student is often comes in from doing undergrad from an institute of repute, which means A-listed, A-ranked institute in India or abroad. In case a student has done national, regional, or an international level sports, whether he's participated or he has won some kind of sports, we are looking at those candidates, and because we believe those candidates bring value to the classroom. We are also looking at candidates who may have done something great in their extracurricular activities. They may have opened a social venture, they may have worked with a well-reputed NGO, they may have got some awards of repute from the government. So we are also looking at those candidates as extraordinary or exceptional profile candidates. We are also considering candidates with exceptional work ex, which means if a candidate has a minimum of 2 years, which is 24 months of managerial work ex in a listed company or a branded company, which we have in the drop down in the profile detail form. In case you have work experience in those companies, we consider those students a value add to a classroom. So we are also looking at relaxing the test score cutoff for those candidates. So overall, we are either looking at high test score candidates or a candidate who has high merit in other criteria, whether it's extracurricular, whether it's work experience, etc. So that is how we initially select candidates and create a pool of candidates for them to be interviewed. If Dr. Singh wants to add, please.
Well, you have put it beautifully, but I will talk more about the attitudinal part. So in the personal interview per se, we look for people who are positive, who are open to learning, who are open to experimenting with things, people who are persistent, and people who are disciplined. So yes, being flexible really helps. So I think what Ishitaji told and what I have mentioned actually gives you a 360-degree view of the overall evaluation that we carry out at IMT Ghaziabad.
Okay, thank you, sir and ma'am. So there's one more query, very common query, like with few weeks to the interview rounds, like how do they prepare for it? What aspects do they need to cover on, like the final touch-up which they need to be aware of before the interview rounds?
Yeah, so I will present my views and Professor Singh can definitely supplement. So preparation, I think I'm dividing this into work ex candidates and freshers. Freshers are anyone who has less than 12 months of work ex or without a zero work ex. Yeah, we consider them as fresher. For them, If you look at the website in the landing page, you will find several parameters. There's domain knowledge, there's analytical skills, there's communication skills, there's general awareness. So what you need to do is obviously brush up on your domain knowledge. Whatever you have done your undergrad, and you should have some general information about that. We will not ask you exactly very detailed about your undergrad, but what we expect is if you have studied 3 years or 4 years and dedicated your life 3 years or 4 years to studying a subject, you should have some idea about what you have studied in the classroom. You should not be blank about your domain knowledge, which is what we consider domain knowledge. What have you done your undergrad, and what kind of information or knowledge or practice you can derive out of it. We will also test your analytical skills. The faculty will present some kind of questions or some kind of problems to you, and you are supposed to kind of break it down and answer those queries, which can give a faculty an idea about how your mind works, whether it works analytically, whether it works logically, or is there any logic to how you are talking. General awareness, definitely. We want students who are aware of what is happening around the world, which is political, social, economic. So you definitely need to have some understanding of the Indian scenario and of the world scenario. What kind of general awareness or general knowledge or political, social events or current affair events are happening. We definitely will pose you questions on that from the managerial side, and we expect you to have some views on that, because we don't want unaware students, right? Communication skills, very important. It does not mean that your English has to be perfect. It means that you will be able to express confidently, put your thoughts logically, and be succulent and crisp in your answers, not go beating around the bush and taking long answers, right? So yes, so you have to prepare in the next 10-15 days, how much time you have of building those kind of aspects. Read the newspaper, also read about IMT, because when a student comes to interview, if you don't have any idea about IMT Ghaziabad, there's obviously, then that means you have done no research about the institute you're applying for. So go to the website, read about the institute, about the programs it's offering, about its values, about its mission, vision. We will definitely ask you questions. And the work experience candidates, mostly they will have to have some information about the work they are doing, the profile, the kind of responsibilities they're handling, what does their company do, what is their turnover, what is their revenue. So all those kind of questions, definitely you have to have some broad ideas about, and mostly about the work you are doing and what kind of value or what kind of value add it gets to the company you're working with. Exceptional profile and WorkX will definitely, since you're applied through exceptional profile category, you should be aware of what is exceptional about your profile. You have to have that confidence to tell the panelists that this is what is exceptional and this is how I stand out, and this is why you should select me as a part of exceptional profile or WorkX. So I think whatever you have put in pen and paper, you should be able to justify that and able to justify the parameters we are judging you on. And Professor Harvinder, if you have some.
I'll start with a very simple thing. You should know yourself. Fine. For example, you should know why you are in the interview, why you want to be here, what you want to be in life. There has to be clarity on that, number one. Number two, please read your CV. When all those things that appear on your CV, you should be knowing them well. Fine. I mean, if you do not have sufficient curiosity about people and institutions and places you are associated with, I think we have reason to believe that you are not curious enough in life. Awareness is good. You must read newspapers, but then what we are looking at is your ability to process information into knowledge. So whether you read a political news or you read a business news or whatever, please link that with activities happening around. So political events, do they have a business implication? Economic policy, does it have a business implication? In fact, it actually helps if you devote some time in reading editorial section of a newspaper, because analysis is something that would really help. An interview will not be a quiz where we ask question, you give one word answer and we move on to the next one. There would be probing, right? So prepare thoroughly. Apart from that, of course, you should be knowing what you have done in past. You should be knowing what you plan to do in future. That's it.
Okay, so next query is more of a specific query. He mentions that he has got more than 2 years of WorkX, but not in the companies which are listed there in the website under the exceptional profile category. So he's an architect, so he doesn't find jobs in the listed companies. So what can be done for this?
See, we have very categorically listed those companies under exceptional profile and exceptional work-ex particularly, and that list is sacrosanct. We are not going beyond that list as of the moment to consider students under exceptional. But he is a work-ex candidate. He will be judged based on the kind of work-ex and quality of work-ex and the kind of company that he is coming in from. The faculty will pose him questions based on that, and he can definitely, I mean, apply normally as a normal candidate who has work experience. So it doesn't necessarily mean exceptional work-ex, but normal work-ex category he will be considered, and he can appear for the interview and prepare accordingly.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So next query which is coming in is like, what are the types of scholarships offered, and what is the procedure to avail those scholarships at the campus?
Right. So we have a few scholarships and few waivers which we give the student. The most standard is the AICTE TFW, what we call tuition fee waiver, in which we provide 100% waiver on the academic fees of the candidate in case he qualifies for economically backward section of the society, which is defined as the Government of India's 8 lakhs at household income of 8 lakhs or lower than that. So he or she needs to provide documentation as per the deadline mentioned on our landing page. Very clear section is there on the candidate portal and on the website on TFW waiver. He or she needs to provide the necessary documents listed in that document and upload them as per the deadline. And depending on the uploading of documents and verification of facts, the scholarship committee will take a call whether he qualifies for the TFW waiver or not. And once he has been selected, he or she will be communicated through an email that he has been selected for that particular tuition fee waiver. So that is about the tuition fee waiver. We also give very generous scholarships for female candidates because we believe in getting the gender diversity in the classroom, which is essential for learning in the classroom, right? So a gender diverse and academic diverse classroom, I'm sure Dr. Singh will also conquer, that creates a very rich environment for students to learn. So to promote a female student to come on join our campus, we are offering a 25% scholarship on their academic fees. So every student, female student who has been selected to IMT Ghaziabad, selected, not shortlisted, selected, admitted to IMT Ghaziabad, will receive a 25% scholarship on their tuition fees, which is very generous because we want to encourage female students in the classroom. Apart from that, we also have scholarships in the second year, which is Shri Mahendra Nath Scholarship, which Professor Harvinder Singh, if you can throw some little bit of light on.
Every year we announce a certain number of scholarships, which is about a lakh rupees per student, and the criteria is merit cum means. So we duly notify the students, and students provide us with information, and information relates to their academic grades and their family. And then we have a panel of faculty members who interact with students one-to-one, and we assess the case. Based on that, we rate the cases, and of course top select number of, for example, if we have 10 or 12 scholarships, an equal number of students from the rating list are picked up and offered the scholarship. One of the most prestigious scholarships, and it is actually a kind of honor that students normally carry on their CV also. Very coveted scholarships.
Okay. So one more query, which is very common, that is, what is the difference between the PGDM dual country program and the PGDM program? This is more of a program specific query which is coming up. So if you could answer that.
So PGDM dual country program is a 12-year-old program created by IMT Ghaziabad with a very specific purpose. So we all understand that our students, I mean, all big prominent business schools, students end up having global roles very soon in their career. But normally a typical B school student has a very limited exposure to international cultures and workplaces during the program. So DCP was actually created as a unique program in which students get 1 year long detailed immersion. And consciously, we have selected a location like Dubai, in which students go spend 1 full year. Dubai as a place is unique in the sense that it is basically a hub for finance, it's a hub for tourism, it's a hub for innovation and technology these days. And that is the place that accommodates people from close to 190 nationalities. So even if you think of any place on this planet, it is actually impossible for you to find so many nationalities. And in that 1 year, students have the option of living in those places. Student body, faculty body they interact with, they are international faces. There are international permanent faculties in Dubai, international visiting faculty coming. When you move around, you go to malls, you go to for shopping, you go to companies for projects, you have your summer internship. A good number of them do summer internship internally. So that year-long exposure of being in a vibrant international market shapes people's knowledge as well as personality towards acclimatization. So when such students get to interact with international clients and organizations, their acclimatization is pretty fast. Apart from that, in terms of academic inputs, the inputs of these programs are also highly context specific. For example, as I said, UAE being a finance hub, the specialization we offer in DCP is one of these super specializations is advanced quantitative finance, which emphasizes the quantitative aspects of financial decision making. Then we have a specialization on international trade and logistics. Please understand, Dubai is one of the leading supply chain and logistics hub in the Middle East. Jebel Ali is one of the largest ports in the world, fine. So that fits very well into the context. And of course, we have international business and marketing as another domain. So these three super specializations that we offer have been designed specifically, and the academic inputs, the practical exposure, and quality of life. These three pillars have very strong global orientation. So a DCP student is supposed to stand tall when it comes to having a global mindset among a group of PA group MBA students. Well,
Thank you, sir, for that lovely answer. Now, next, another program-specific query that is coming up is, what is the difference between PGDM and PGDM marketing? Like, what differs?
So PGDM is basically a more flexible program. Now, the typical scenario is, in a typical PGDM program, you have 6 terms. Each year has 3 terms. Now, in a PGDM marketing program, your specialization is decided from day one. So when you enter term 1, you know you will be specializing only in marketing. In PGDM program, you have a flexibility. So by the end of 2nd term, you can make up your mind whether you want to go from marketing, finance, operations, HR. But term 3 onwards, things beyond, if a PGDM student opts for marketing, then the academic inputs that he or she gets would be at par with PGDM marketing. But flexibility is something that clearly differentiates PGDM from PGDM marketing.
Thank you, sir. So we have some more questions coming in, and this is one more specific question, which is, does having a 3-year plus of work experience hamper the opportunities during summer internship compared to freshers?
Whom you want to ask this question? Me?
So I think you will, so you will be better.
Okay. See, first of all, there is no reason to believe that more experience would lead to complications until and unless, as long as your expectations are realistic, number one, and number two, you are thorough about what you want to do. In fact, there might be organizations who would actually welcome this much experience. Suppose you are into information technology or engineering or whatever, and there's an organization which is looking for someone who has got excellent product knowledge or technical knowledge. Fine, I'm talking of technical selling, B2B selling, or IT selling. So this experience could actually be useful. So there's no reason to believe. Fine, but yes, one thing is very sure. While interviewing, the interview panel at MBA selection stage as well as job selection stage would have higher expectations from you. they would know a better understanding, not only theoretical, but also practical from people who have 3 years of more of work ex.
Thank you, sir. So next set of queries which are coming in is, are any opportunities for international student exchange programs are available in the campus during the 2 years?
Well, sorry.
So I will, yeah, so you can probably take a sip of water. Let me answer this question. So we have many international, as part of an IRC, which is a department at IMT. We have partnerships with many business schools and universities across the globe, be it US, UK, Europe, Australia. And we definitely give opportunities to our students for international exchange programs. Obviously, during the COVID time, this travel was stopped, and we could not physically send students or get students from abroad. But again, as you know, travel is opening up, and for the next years, we are definitely looking at sending students abroad who meet the criteria of the partner B school, and who meet the criteria in terms of what electives and what specializations they want to choose. We are definitely encouraging students to select the kind of courses that they want to study abroad, and go abroad and for a term or for a semester and kind of learn those courses. Professor Harvinder will probably share details of what are the courses, but give some idea. But from my side, yes, we have an operating IRC. Since COVID is now abated and international travel has opened up, we will give every opportunity for students who are interested for doing international exchange programs. Professor Singh, if you want something.
Well, international exchange is open for all, but it is voluntary in nature. So every year we interact with our partner business schools, more than 50 business schools, top business schools in the world, and they share the number of available seats. So in the whole bunch, we have say 50, 60 seats every year easily, spread over maybe 15, 20, 30 B schools. We offer them up. There's normally a competitive process. So there are less seats, more students compete for it. You have to pass through a process which comprises of profile scanning and interview. Based on your standing in that process, you are given institutions of your choice, and you spend one complete term in that. The courses you do, their credits, their evaluation, they are converted to Indian scales and then become a part of your profile, your course list. So yes, it's a vibrant program. We were among the most active international exchange business schools pre-COVID, and we plan to be there again since COVID is over. That's it.
Okay, thank you, sir and ma'am. Now, next set of queries which are coming in is like, are there any category-based reservations available at IMT Ghaziabad during the admission process?
No, we don't give reservations to anyone. It's a completely merit-based process for every candidate. We give merit parameters, yes. So if it's a candidate who is academic diverse, we have an added merit to give into the candidate to promote non-engineers into the program. For females, yes, we give points so that because we want more females joining the program. But overall, there is no reservation. It is for all candidates are treated equally.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Now we have a program specific doubt, which is for the banking and financial services program. It is mentioned that there is a foreign trip. So is it compulsory regarding this program?
Yeah, so if I can answer and Professor Singh can supplement. Yes, so the boot camp, which we call, it can be domestic, it can be international, depending on the circumstance of travel. Like as you are aware, last year it was difficult to travel internationally, so there was a domestic travel organized for a boot camp organized for the BFS students, and this is particularly for the students to understand the practice of BFS by interacting with a lot of financial institutions and other BFSI companies to give them practical exposure. We kind of hold this boot camp where students can interact, can learn, and gain a lot of perspective from actual practitioners. So this boot camp is compulsory. Yes, the cost is added to the fees of the program, but it is as per actual cost. So there is no fixed amount that you need to pay upfront. Depending on the schedule of the boot camp, there will be an actual cost component which students have to pay before they leave for the boot camp. And yes, it is for each and every student because it's part of the overall curriculum and you're expected to attend this boot camp and learn. So Professor Singh, if
I'll supplement your response simply by saying internationalization is a very vital aspect of all programs. But BFS being a highly specialized program, the kind of international exposure students need cannot be delivered normally through a normal exchange program where students go attend classes, fine. So this kind of exposure comes only through interaction with relevant entities from the field of banking and finance in the international markets. And that is the logic behind the boot camp. So anyone, I mean, we can't even think of a program without this, because if we allow this option to be removed, students miss out on that learning part. And Vlerick is a partner of ours. It's a very leading prominent business school in the field of finance in Europe.
Okay, thank you, sir and ma'am. Now we move on to the next query, which is what specifically we look for in a fresher with no work ex. Like, what are the aspects he needs to be aware of apart from a candidate who has a 2-year or 3-year of work ex?
right. So yes, we don't expect a fresher to answer questions based on what a work ex student will answer, because we understand they're very two separate profiles, and we will not judge a person who has no work ex, because the criteria we measure them are very different from the criteria we measure a work ex candidate. So a fresher has to have some information about first his undergrad education. So please understand, if you have devoted 3 or 4 years in your undergrad studying a subject, the faculty will expect him or her to have some understanding and some basic knowledge about what he has studied in the classroom, what he has learned in the classroom, and how he can apply that to at this stage of his career. So why is he taking this step of going to a PGDM with the undergrad domain knowledge or undergrad subject matter knowledge that he has? So there will be questions posed on that. So he has to be very clear on the fact that he wants to do an MBA now, right after his graduation. What are his aspirations? How does he link those knowledges? We also will test the candidate on his communication skills. As I said earlier in this session, probably with another B school, excellent. It is not excellent English speaking skills, but how he puts forth his thought with more clarity and logically and very crisp, in a crisp manner. We'll also judge the candidate on his general awareness. So general awareness is not dependent on work ex or no work ex. He has to be aware of the business side of any general current awareness that is happening in the market, whether it's a political event or a social event or economic event. He needs to know the repercussions and kind of have understanding of it and apply those knowledges. So he has to be able to answer when the faculty or panel asks him about those particular events or situations. Apart from that, we look at his academic scores and his quality of education, be his 10th, 12th graduation, and anything extraordinary in his profile that he can kind of, document, which may be an extracurricular activity, which can be something exceptional he has done. So based on these parameters, we judge a fresher, which is very different from how we judge a work ex candidate, because we don't expect the candidate to know anything about practical work experience, because he is not. But we will obviously, the faculty will evaluate him basis his undergrad, basis his profile, basis his academics, basis his general awareness and his awareness of the world. And most importantly, as Professor Singh said, what is his reason of doing an MBA at this juncture? What are his career goals? Do they match up? And is that relevant? And Professor Singh can supplement.
I have been part of so many interview panels, so I know we come across a lot of freshers. We are actually happy talking to freshers. I mean, they bring kind of, fresh zeal, youth, innovative ideas. But one thing we always look for is their ability to analyze information, comprehend it, and solve the problem. So even if you have no practical experience, we can give you situations from life, and then we want to understand how you comprehend, how you gather your thoughts, and what kind of solutions you come up with. Fine. So when it comes to problem solving, it's not something that is relevant only for experienced people. Even freshers might come across situations or questions that make them solve problems. So yes, you can't really train for that, honestly. You have to respond the way you are programmed inherently, fine. But be conscious of it. These issues will surely come up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Now, one of the candidates mentions that he has a gap year, and does it limits its opportunities during the 2 years or even in the placements and internships, this gap year?
Well, see, if you have a logical explanation for it, and gap year should not be an issue, fine. And there are issues at times. It could be medical emergency, could be a family issue, could be a career decision. Many students actually drop 1 year after 12th for preparing for a medical stream or engineering stream. And if you actually make it to a good engineering or a medical college, I mean, it actually proves that the gap was justified, fine. So gap is not an issue. The justification that you present is the issue at times. Fine.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Now moving on to the next question, which is coming in, is like, this is a very common question, like IMT Ghaziabad has a very large batch size. So does it affect the placements in any way, or one gets lost in the huge batch size? And like, what are the pros and cons of the batch size? So if you could throw some words on this.
Well, India is a country of 1.4 billion people. Do we get lost? I mean, see, first of all, it's very common to say large batch size. Anyone who says this should actually go and find out the batch size of peer group B schools, number one. And you will find the numbers are more or less the same. Number two, please understand, IMT Ghaziabad has multiple programs. It has a PGDM program, it has a PGDM marketing program, PGDM finance program, PGDM DCP, PGDM BFS. And if any institution offers multiple programs, the cumulative strength would surely be at a certain number. And I reiterate, please check the numbers. Our numbers are more or less the same. In top B schools, in our peer group, numbers are more or less the same. Number two, when it comes to career options, please understand, every year we invite close to 200 companies on campus. We are more than 40-year-old institution. We have thousands of alums, many of them at CXO level. So we actually work harder, we invite. So batch size is immaterial if your resources are in adequate numbers. And if you look at our placement data for last couple of years, in fact, last couple of years are among the most challenging years for any business school as far as placement is concerned. But we have actually shown tremendous improvement. Last 2 years, our average package has gone up by 40%. Last 2 years. So it speaks volumes of. But yes, I mean, if you are exceptionally bad, I mean, then of course we can't really force you on some organization. You have to really be good enough.
Thank you, sir, for this insights about it. Moving on to the next question, like, does IMT give a preference to a student with an entrepreneur mindset, or if he has done some startup in his earlier career, so that is preferred?
Yes,
during
so
the
as I
interview?
said that in the exceptional profile category, we have a parameter on them, in them, which says if you have had an entrepreneurial venture in some capacity, and it was it's a relative term, whether it was success or a failure, kind of what was your journey like, whether you learned something out of it, business wise, whether overall, whether how was your experience, we definitely have it under exceptional profile. And if you feel if you had an entrepreneurial journey in your undergrad years and you can prove it via documentation, certain documentation is needed. Of course, it has to be a registered company. Of course, you need to have some business functions included in it. Of course, you have to share with us what was your turnover like, what was your revenue stream, what kind of functions you did, things like that. If you it definitely gives an advantage under the exceptional profile category, because it's one of the points listed that if you, in case you had an entrepreneurial venture, you can provide documentation. The faculty will ask you questions. Please remember, for every exceptional profile or WorkX, there is additional questions that are there in the PD form. So the profile detail form for a lot of candidates who have already applied is live now. You need to go through that form, fill up those details in the form, provide the appropriate documentation. The faculty will ask you questions based on whatever you have added into the profile, exceptional profile. If they feel that you're fit and if they feel it's valid, the documents will be verified at the back end, and definitely it's an advantage for you. But you have to be very sure of whether you have done it, what was your journey, what kind of learnings you draw from it. So these questions or these kind of situations have to be very clear in your mind, because definitely the faculty is going to ask you questions related to it. So to be well prepared in case you are listing out something exceptional in your profile.
Thank you, ma'am. So moving on, we have a question related to the SOP part of the process, like with the limit of the number of words and what all things a candidate needs to cover in his SOP so it presents the best out of his life.
Okay, so I would start with saying that we as Indians have a tendency to write long passages because that's how we are oriented from school. The longer we write and the more papers we take, the better outcomes we have because in results. But I think the number one rule, which even the faculty looks for in an interview, is how you put your point across clearly and in concise, very point-wise manner. So that is the number one. That is the number one skill of an analytical mind or a problem solver. That how can you put your point across clearly, very, very concise, in a very, very concise and in a sufficient manner, not to beat around the bush. So the SOP limit has been kept in mind looking at this, that can a student give us an idea about his MBA, his journey of his career, so that there's few parameters there. What are your career goals? How does a PGDM at this point help you attain them? So in those few words, you have to explain to the faculty in a very clear-cut manner what has been your journey, why do you wish to do a PGDM at this point, and how it will help you bridge the gap to your ultimate career goal. So these things are important. The SOP is important because the faculty goes through that before they interview the candidate, and specific questions are asked based on what he has put in SOP. Please don't beat around the bush in your SOP. Be very clear about what you have, what is your journey like, what is your reason for pursuing an MBA, and what is your future goal look like, because that also showcases the faculty how analytical and how clear you are. So please put a lot of thought behind writing the SOP. Don't copy paste it, because faculty is smart enough. Don't think they're not smart enough. They've interviewed thousands of candidates before you, and they will interview thousands of candidates after you. So please don't copy paste. Write your original SOP according to what feels good for you, because there'll be definitely questions based on that.
Thank you, ma'am, for that insight. So we have a question regarding the cutoff. Like, what is the cutoff? Is there a different set of cutoff for the different programs, or is there any safe range for a cutoff which you can provide?
So basically, if you look at the past 2-3 years information, and I think it's public information, we have cutoffs of a certain percentile, which is above 90 for CADSAT percentile and above 650 for GMAT for our regular programs. And there is a program-wise cutoff, because I'll tell you the reason why we have a different cutoff for a different program. It's slightly over and up and down, probably 2-3 percentiles, is the fact that depends on also how many people choose the program and what is the demand of the program, because some programs a lot of students give preference for, but definitely we have to match the supply with the demand, right? So there are particular number of seats in a program. There are many students who want that program. How do I come to the final conclusion that there are only 180 seats when there are thousands of students who are opting for the program? So I have to put a cutoff for reaching that program, right? That's number one. Number two is the fact that there is a certain relaxation of cutoff for students who come in with exceptional profile and exceptional work ex, probably a 4-5 percentile relaxation for them. There is a slight relaxation for female applicants as well, because obviously we want to encourage female aspirants to apply for the program. But overall, if you look at the past 3-4 years data, definitely for normal candidates, it will be above 90, and for work exceptional, it will be above 85. Every year we kind of make some plus minus in the cutoff depending on the pool of applicants. So before I have the entire pool and I have the interview process, I wouldn't be able to tell what is exactly the cutoff this year. But look, you can look at the last 3 years trend and you'll get a general idea. And this is for IMT Ghaziabad.
Thank you, ma'am. So there's a counter query regarding this, that if someone has a very good academic score in say 10th, 12th and graduation, so that kind of offsets for the cutoff, or is it equally important to score well in CAT as well?
It is equally important to score well as well, because apart from the criteria which is listed in the exceptional profile or exceptional work ex, we don't give relaxation of cutoffs. So there is no offsetting of one parameter to the other. You need to have a minimum cutoff, and over that is a basic criteria for selection, and over and above we will obviously look at other things in your profile, whether it's academics, whether it's work experience, whether it's extracurricular, whether it's your performance in the interview. But there is a base cutoff which is for every student, and the reason is we have thousands of students applying to IMT, and we have to select the best of the best. So there has to be some general, base level. So that's the reason.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So moving on to the next set of questions. One question which is coming is, any prerequisites or skills that would be advantageous during this 2-year MBA program before joining it that one can?
I think Dr. Singh will probably have a better answer for it.
Yes.
See, depends on your academic background. So if you are an engineer, it actually helps if you develop some basic understanding of finance, accounting, and social sciences. If you are an arts graduate or a commerce graduate, it would actually help if you get some basic understanding of numbers. One common skill which is useful for everyone is proficiency in Excel. It's not that we don't impart it. Of course, in the foundation program, we do have modules, but then better understanding of Excel, it's very useful. Apart from that, in general, people should be very comfortable dealing with, handling, and working with technology. Fine. So going forward, we have lots of softwares and we have lots of courses that talks about use of technology. So if you have basic understanding of common technological platforms, fine. Be it social media platforms, be it research platforms, be it data analytics platforms. Many students during the summer break do some certifications also. A lot of these are available. And most popular domains, as we all know, are digital marketing or analytics. So some students do that as well. I mean, eventually you have to have a few achievements, additional achievements on your CV when it comes to your summer internship profile. So that really helps.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, we have a specific query from a candidate. He's saying that he's asking more about the TFW scheme, scholarship under the TFW scheme. And so what are the criteria on which he is evaluated under this scheme?
So I would request the candidate to please check his candidate portal. Once he logins to the candidate portal, the TFW document is already uploaded there. So he can go through that document. It's a PDF document. He can open the document, check the entire criteria. It's very well listed there. The form is already live, so he can fill up the form. Just to give you a general idea, as per the government and as per the AICTE, 8 lakhs or below of annual household income verified by the Tehsildar of the district, or an equivalent of Tehsildar of the district in an income certificate document for the past 1 year. So we look at the latest certificate which is issued, and the Tehsildar or equivalent of the district has to issue that certificate. Every state has a different income certificate. So we encourage the student to go to the Tehsildars or the equivalent office and take out the certificate, see the certificate, and we will accept it in any format, but it has to be verified by a Tehsildar level officer that the household income, total household income, which means if the candidate is earning, or his father is earning, mother is earning, sister, whoever is present in the house, a total household income of 8 lakhs or less, INR of less, is considered as a TFW applicant. The candidate has to fill in the form, which is already live on the candidate portal, submit the requisite documents by the last date. I think first date has been 1st or 2nd of February. Once he has done that, there will be a scholarship committee which will scrutinize his documents, scrutinize and verify. In case, call up the candidate and ask for additional documentation which he has to provide by a particular deadline. So then the committee will sit, scrutinize the document and profile of the candidate, and finally the TFW will be announced to him at the time of giving admission to the candidate, right? In case there are more number of applicants and less, because TFW has a intake is 5% of the seat allocated, right? So suppose there are 100 seats allocated to a program, only 5 students can avail of the TFW scheme. So in case there are more applicants and more eligible people, we will go by the admission merit, and the top admission merit, top 5 candidates among those 100 will be selected. So I encourage students to please visit our landing page, visit the candidate portal, check the information for TFW, apply as per the deadline. So that's basically how the process is.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your insights on that query. So this is more of a program related query, like what are the new initiatives and program structures which are planned for this year compared to the past years? Any new initiatives coming up this year?
Well, every year before the academic year sets in, we do have a comprehensive exercise. There are 8 academic areas. So all academic areas get together. We have an area advisory board. This area advisory board comprises of senior professors from external B schools and industry professionals. We have a complete look at our academic inputs, and we do major changes if required. So yes, one change at the level of academic inputs is thoroughly revised industry focused inputs for the coming batch. That's one thing. Apart from that, we always keep on improving the industry connect year after year. So yes, over the last few years, we have seen the number of sessions delivered by guest faculty from industry and number of full courses delivered by faculty have also been improved. Third thing is, of course, we keep on improving the quality of interactions. So in terms of the speakers and of course recruiters coming from companies, we have better companies and we have of course better profiles and packages. So yes, we have a template in front of us and our target is to improve it year by year. And we of course will do it this year as well.
Thank you, sir.
Raman, I think we have last 5 minutes, so probably last 1 or 2 questions we can take.
Yes. So one of the most asked question which is coming up is like, what is a campus life at IMT Ghaziabad? Like what a student can experience at a day at IMT Ghaziabad?
So I think Professor Harvinder can share, and you can also share, Aman, because you are a student.
Yes, sure,
So
ma'am.
I would request sir to share, and then your insights also, Aman.
See, some of my colleagues who, we don't have faculty accommodation on campus. This could be one big attraction for many students, saying, oh, faculty does not live on campus. But the point is, at times we are compelled to live on campus for MDPs and other programs. And those who live experience that IMT as a campus is alive round the clock. So suddenly you get up at around 2:33 for taking a cup of water. You simply remove the curtain, see an event, sport is being going on. amphitheater, people are talking and buzzing. Projects assigned, so people keep on doing it. Student driven campus, we all know, a lot of student clubs and committees, all key activities like placement, admissions, everything is handled by students in a very nice way. Lot of activities where outsiders also come, Tatva, Passion, Chakraview, we all know that. Lot of scopes for achievement, lot of case study competition and sports activities that we have. Lot of academic discussions in the class, lot of learning outside the class, lot of people to work with, lot of people to listen to. So yes, 24 hours or less. IMT is a happening campus. Rest Aman can add to it.
So yes, I totally agree to what you have said. It's totally a student-driven campus. But apart from the regular curriculum, I would say that I've learned more from apart from the class than from the regular curriculum outside of the class, because the best opportunity I got here was to network with a talented pool of candidates. There are many candidates, so I got an opportunity to network with them and make valuable friendships. The diverse thought process that the batch brings in, it develops in one's own holistical development as well. So it does not restrict your thought process, it adds to your thought process if there is such a diverse set of candidates. Now, taking parts in case study competition also forms one of the important aspects of the campus life, because we get to bond and we get to participate in teams and work on real projects, real problem scenarios. Moving on, we would say that sports also is an important factor here. We have Chakravyuh, the Olympics of these schools, lined up in the February only. So we get to experience a lot. One last thing is a saying that IMT never sleeps. It's an unofficial line. So I have lived it and experienced it. And so if anybody wants to experience it, he has to or she has to get here to experience it. It cannot be justified with mere words. It's a lifetime experience. So this is all. I totally enjoy it. Thank you.
Thanks, Aman. And I think probably you also guys have a session on 24th. Where admission committee members, student members of each campus will share their experiences with aspirants. So I would encourage all aspirants to, those details will be shared by email. They can join that live session and interact with our a larger group in addition to Aman, students, and they can ask all their queries about campus life, about festivals, about clubs, committees, and I'm sure our students would be more than happy to answer those concerns. So Aman, probably one last question we can, before we go on to closing notes.
Yeah, sure. So one question which is asked is like, what are the additional changes in the admission process compared to previous years? Like what extra changes are there?
So I don't think there are too many changes. Process is online. You will be notified by this week about the process details. It is the same via your candidate portal. You need to log in. The process is via Zoom, which is already embedded in your candidate portal. So you need to submit the profile detail form, which is a compulsory element of attending your interview. The mail will go to you for selecting your PI slots. Please select it as per the deadline mentioned. I would do a special announcement for ZAT takers. We know ZAT results are not announced, so that should not deter you from selecting your PI booking slot, because before we send you the admission offer, we will consider your best score between CAT, ZAT, and GMAT. So in case you have got less than required test percentile in CAT, and you have appeared for ZAT, we will consider your ZAT scores before giving you final admission. So do not get confused about appearing for the PI. PI process is common for all campuses. It does not mean that Ghaziabad process is separate from Nagpur, Hyderabad process. It is the same process. Please attend the process. We will take your scores into consideration. So that's number one. So you please fill up your PI booking slot as per the mail which has been sent to you. The process is no different. The parameters are more or less the same. You need to take a CT test, a critical thinking test on the day of your interview. It's a 30-minute test. The question or the issue will be posted. You need to write about it. Submit the test on time because there's a timer running. Please remember to read the instructions. There's a timer running. As soon as the timer ends, the test will wind up on its own if you have not saved it. So be very mindful of that fact. There will be a panel interview as last year's through your candidate portal. You will attend the candidate interview and you will submit, you will answer the queries, and the candidate and the panelists will submit your evaluation sheet. And we will go through the process, and as per last few years, second or third week of March, when we will announce your results. So please, my sincere request, go through the emails, go through the manuals. Please don't have any last minute doubts. In case if you have any doubts after reading the emails thoroughly or manual, please ask us. We are always ready to help, but we don't want any last minute glitches because of the fact that you were unaware of something, you could not attend the process. So please be very aware from today itself, because the next 1 month is very crucial for you, and we would want all of you to, whoever is interested, to appear for the process and qualify for the process. So please be very mindful of emails and notifications coming your way. So that's my, I think, request, and obviously my sincere closing note also to all the aspirants.
So thank you, ma'am, and so for sharing.
So
your
Professor
insights.
Singh, do you wish to add something as a closing remark for this
Well, I
session?
just want to thank the admissions team for arranging this wonderful session. I thank all the participants for being with us. We are eager to interact with you. And as they say in sports, let the best team wins. We say in IMT, let the best candidates get selected. We are eager to interact with you.
Yes, thank you for everyone and all the best. Thank you, Aman, for sparing your valuable time. Thank you, Professor Singh. And yes, I hope to see all candidates on campus, IMT campus, very soon. Take care.
So thank you, Ishita ma'am and Harvinder sir, for this
Thank
valuable
you.
session. So
Take care.
it will help everyone to take informed decision now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.